Hello everybody, welcome live to the beginning of the brand new season. Now, I'm just going to say within this first couple of minutes, if there's any dropped frames tonight, I do sincerely apologise. We're testing this layout tonight to see how it works. So it's the first time I've used this in there's a few new graphics on there. But we are back for the start of the brand new season. And I am delighted to say that joining me today for a very special EFL Championship game, the first one of the season, we have Kieran L. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to the start of a new season. And of course, it's we start with the EFL, as I believe football always should do. And I'm looking forward to it because Watford, it's been 5 years since they've been here. And Middlesbrough coming off a really dreadful campaign, almost getting relegated. But, you know, Neil Warnock keeps teams up.
Absolutely indeed. So just to make sure, if you are seeing anything in the chat in terms of any lag, do give me a heads up. It'd be greatly appreciated if you do, of course. Right now, it should be fine. But as you can see on the screen, a brand new setup for this season. It's going to change. For each league, I've got a different kind of graphic. I've set new graphics up. So you can see on the top of your screen right now, we've got the scoreboard. We've got on the bottom of your screen some of the future watch-alongs we're going to be doing for anybody that wants to know in terms of the future watch-alongs. And then, of course, as well, when the goals do go in, I'm going to take the schedule thing off. You'll also be able to see on the bottom of your screen as well another scoreboard, as you could say, on the middle of the screen. So we're testing things out today ahead of the new season, which of course starts today. Looking at the comments right now, thank you very much, Kieran. Everything looks as fine as such. Thank you very much. Nicholas Edwards saying Watford 4-2. And Jack Wilson has asked, are you watching NBA? Not right now, but maybe it's something we can look into in the future in terms of basketball. But as I said before, it's the start of the 20 to 21 English season, and the first match tonight is Watford, who are taking on Middlesbrough. I think the first thing, of course, to do before we talk about this game is to look into tonight's lineups and find out who is playing for each side. So starting off, as you can see on your screens right now, with the Watford lineup, it's a 3-4-3 tonight, with the new manager Vladimir Ivic. Of course, in goal is Ben Foster, who played in the Premier League beforehand. Only 3 of the starters in the previous game against Arsenal are actually playing tonight. Back 3 includes Ben Wilmot, Craig Cathcart and Cabasele. Midfield 4, it features the 2 wing-backs who are playing as slash midfielders. And Ngakia, formerly of West Ham, joined Watford this season. Nathaniel Chalobah, Tom Cleverley and Kiko Femenia. And then up top tonight, we've got Sema, João Pedro and Domingos Quina. Now, before we go on to the Watford lineup, KL, mixing up the Kierans there, my bad. That front three tonight is a very different front three to what we usually expect from Watford. What's your thoughts on it?
It's massively different. You know, if you look last year, you had Deeney, you know, a big beefy boy up top, and, you know, they signed Glenn Murray as well to be that target man finisher. But up front, for me, that's a lot of fearlessness. That's a lot of pace. That's a lot of youthfulness. And lots of unknowns, you know, João Pedro, Ken Sema and Domingos Quina. We've not seen much of them in a Watford shirt if you look back to the Premier League, but maybe this is what you need. Players who are going to try to prove they're good enough rather than these stalwarts that have been around in the Premier League like Roberto Pereira injured and Deulofeu and Sarr and Welbeck. You know, these guys have something to prove that are playing tonight. And, you know, if they put in one good performance, this could be the team that Ivic takes into games forward. I know Watford fans are very high on Domingos Quina. I'm looking forward to him playing the likes of João Pedro, only 18, 19 years old.
Absolutely. So pretty strong looking team tonight for Watford. As we said before, we've actually just kind of looked on Sky Sports. There are a lot of players missing right now for Watford in terms of injuries, players who haven't been able to train, the likes of Ismaila Sarr, Deulofeu, to name a couple of the big names that have stayed at Watford right now. So that's the Watford team, of course, first game of the Championship. And then, of course, we have the Middlesbrough team tonight. It is 41st season in charge of a club. Of course, it's Neil Warnock, and this is the Middlesbrough lineup tonight. It's a 3 at the back once again, 3-4-1-2 for Middlesbrough tonight. Bettinelli, who's just recently joined from Fulham, is in goal tonight. Back 3 of Dijksteel, Grant Hall, who just joined recently from QPR, and Paddy McNair, who played as a striker very recently for Northern Ireland, now playing as a centre-back tonight. He's a versatile man. Midfield 4, we've got Spence, Johnny Howson, Saville and Johnson. Playing, it could be a 3-5-2 tonight as well, but I would expect it to be a 3-4-1-2. Tavernier, Marcus Tavernier, that is, playing as a cam, and then up top tonight, Fletcher and Assom Belonga. Now, no offence to Assom Belonga, I guess he's probably not as big of a name as he used to be in the Championship, but they've got a fairly strong team tonight. A lot of different faces in this Middlesbrough team from last season. Do you think maybe this is the beginning of a new era for Middlesbrough, or do you think it could backfire with all the new signings?
I think, for me, they did lose a lot of experience, but they lost experience that, didn't have a good season last year. It wasn't as if this team that they had done with Adam Clayton and Daniel Ayala and George French, they've had their time in the Premier League, didn't get it done. They had a poor season last year, didn't get it done. So I don't think it'll backfire. And I think when you've got Neil Warnock as your manager, he knows what it takes to get you out of this league, and he knows the type of players and characters that you need to get out of this division. So if I was Middlesbrough, I'd trust in Neil Warnock because this is his league and he knows how to get out of it. So yes, they've lost a lot, but I don't know if the squad's good enough to go up, but surely they've got to have a better year than last year.
Fingers crossed for them. Just looking at the chat right now, it's very busy. Thank you for everybody that's joined, by the way. And I actually forgot to say at the start of the show, thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. We're now up to 700 subscribers, which is really greatly appreciated. And if you're new, as always, do leave a like and a subscription. I'm not going to try and advertise it too much tonight. I always tend to. But look at the comments right now. In terms of the chat, Nicholas Edwards asked the question, is Deeney not there anymore at Watford? He is, but I believe he's one of the players that is currently out with an injury. Kieran D, who I accidentally said earlier, thought he was here, of course, Kieran L. He says, I'm thinking it will be tricky for Watford and won't be as straightforward as expected. 1-1, I think. Of course, put your score predictions in the chat. Every comment that you put, we will read out on tonight's watch along. Nicholas Edwards then asked about Welbeck. He's there as well, but he's not been fit to train. Chris Welch has joined, says, hi lads, hope you're both well. Welcome in, Chris. As always, he's predicting Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0. And then Kieran James Dillon, of course, put Paddy McNair, Ashley Fletcher, ex-United legends. And then finally, Prince of the Underground, he's joined us once again. How you doing, buddy? Hope you are all good tonight. So just as I've asked about that, score predictions, we are about 5 minutes away from kickoff of tonight's game. I guess I've got to ask you, Kieran, what do you think the score's going to be tonight?
Well, it's going to be a tight one because I know Neil Warnock teams tend to be, really good in the Championship. By the way, Kieran Dillon has forgot Tom Cleverley, also ex-Man United legend. But I'm going to go with 3-1 Watford.
3-1 Watford. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go and say there's goals tonight. I'm going to go 3-2 to Watford. Of course, these games can't go to penalties. We said this before we started. But there's no penalty shootouts. We were talking, of course, because we had the Champions League and the Europa League over the last couple of weeks before the season started. No penalties tonight, unless, of course, somebody gets fouled in the box in the 90 minutes of play. So the game kicks off in 5 minutes' time. Prince of the Underground said, congrats on the 700, by the way. Thank you very much, Prince of the Underground. Is greatly appreciated. And as you can see right now on the bottom of your screen, scroll on the bottom, I've just updated it a minute ago because it was the wrong setup actually from earlier, are some of the games that we're going to be doing live as watch-alongs in the near future. So I've just advertised the Premier League ones for now. We are looking to do more Championship and EFL watch-alongs in the future. We do like our EFL football, don't we, Kieran?
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and we love the Premier League, but sometimes you need that nitty-grittiness of the Championship, and it's getting harder to get out of each year, and the quality's going up every single year.
Absolutely. So I haven't put any of those on for now because we're going to obviously look in the near future, see what games we want to do. But in terms of Premier League watch-alongs, you could see tomorrow Liverpool are going to be taking on Leeds. Kickoff is at 5:30. We'll be live for that about 5:15. Manchester United against Crystal Palace. No doubt KD will be on that one. Of course, reacting to Manchester United. That game's at 5:30. You can keep your eyes out for that one. That's going to be on the 19th of September. 20th of September, Chelsea take on Liverpool. What a game of football that's going to be. And then the day afterwards, it's a busy weekend coming up very shortly because on the Monday, 21st September, Wolves take on Manchester City. 8:15 kickoff for that will be live from 8 p.m. There'll be other watch-alongs as well across all 5 of the main leagues of European football. And it's going to be fun, of course, as the new season finally kicks off. Although the likes of Liga, of course, have already kicked off in these last couple of weeks. So the players are getting ready to come out for the first half of this game. Really looking forward to this one. kicking off in a short moment. There is going to be a timer just above where the scoreline is to keep you roughly up to date with, on average, the time of the match right now. So I'm going to get that sorted out very, very quickly. But this should be a good game of football to start off the Championship, Kieran.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I feel it's a team that's just dropped down, so that always intrigues people. Usually, when you're getting into these opening weeks of the Championship, I don't know about you, it's the teams that went down and the teams that came up. You always check like their first 5 fixtures to see how they're doing, and the rest of the league pans out as it usually does. So this one is interesting. And Watford, you've got to think new manager. They've got to get off to a good start, and as I think Chris has put in the chat, they've got to be fighting to go up to the top of the Championship.
Absolutely. To emphasise on what Chris has put in the comments, usually I'll be able to put them up on the screen, which makes it nice, but I'm going to look at my phone right now. Chris has put, I think Watford will go up. They've got money for Decore to reinvest. Who knows? Could get money for sales of Sarr and Delafeu potentially, and got good enough squad to compete at the top in Championship. But Watford manager will get sacked at the end of the season, which would be a very Watford thing if they were to go up, potentially, and for him to get sacked. But we actually looked before the show, as I said, Sky Sports had put up all the players that were out injured or missing. Apparently Delafeu's picked up an ACL injury, which I don't know, of course, how long he's had it for. I wasn't even aware he had picked up an ACL injury in the first place. And Sarr as well had a minor injury too, so we won't see him. Potentially in a Watford shirt, again, of course, depending on the next month, because, of course, the transfer window, usually by now, is coming towards the end, but we still have just under a month's of transfer activity left. Do you think we could maybe see some more of the big stars of Watford leave?
Yeah, I think you definitely, when you get relegated, your big players are always there to be poached. However, with the likes of Norwich, I think they can keep the majority of their squad together because, no offence to Norwich, I just don't think many of their players are sought after, whereas you look at Delafeu, who's done it in the Premier League before, very pragmatic player, but he's always got it done. Ismaila Sarr, promising, if uninspiring in the first year, but the potential's there. Roberto Pereira, the thing is with him, he's quality if he's not in the hospital. That's another problem. So I think with what they've got, they've had players that are wages as well. They've got to get rid of some of these high earners to really stop themselves. Because if they, for example, have a disappointing year this year, the parachute payments get less and less. You keep these big players on your books, and it might not be good for the long term of Watford Football Club. So I think more big players will go.
Very likely indeed. We're about to get ready for the kick-off of the first game of the English football season. Technically it isn't because of the Community Shield, but in terms of the EFL, this is the first match of the season, and it only felt like a few weeks ago that Watford had gone down, and that's because it quite literally is a few weeks ago. In fact, you watched their last game against Arsenal where they put up a very valiant effort to stay up, but they were just short of the mark in that game. Yeah,
I remember watching that game. On that day, I think it was the most hyped I'd been for a game in a while because it seemed like at points that they were starting to believe. So I remember that goal show, and every time he come to me, you could see me in the bottom corner, hands on my head, jumping about my room like a silly beggar. Even though it wasn't even my team playing, it's just when it gets down to crunch time, these games with these types of teams can really, really turn up the heat. So hopefully we can start as we mean to go on in the Championship.
Fingers crossed. We're going to be, of course, kicking off in just a moment. The Black Lives Matters situation, the kneeling is continuing. Although now I think they've changed the message slightly to be more just about racism altogether for advertisement purposes. And, of course, on the sleeves as well, they've changed it up. So the game has kicked off. Here we go. The beginning of the 2021 season as Watford take on Middlesbrough in the Championship, which I think most Watford fans, if you'd have said to them at the beginning of last season that they were going to be in the Championship the next season, they absolutely wouldn't have believed you. But here we are in interesting circumstances as well, because of course no fans in the stadium, sadly as well. And now you should be able to see on your screen, hopefully somebody can tell me in the chat, the timer should be up there as well, which is around the same time as what I'm seeing on my screen right now. Just to make sure I'm not too far ahead of Kieran. Currently, I am on 48, 9, 51.
I am 2 seconds ahead, so I don't think that's too much of a difference in terms of that. As Middlesbrough get a free kick waved away on the edge of the box there to start early. So yeah, there's 2 seconds in between us, but usually for our watch-alongs, 2 seconds is nothing.
No, Kieran's put, I heard Josh loves a 0-0 board draw. Yeah, let's not start with a 0-0 draw at the beginning of the season. It'd be the worst start possible. Chris has put, bring on the new football season. All this weekend, the hype. I mean, he's really, really hyped just to have football back. And what I was saying before is, of course, it's very unfortunate circumstances that, once again, we still can't have fans in the stadium. It's still, of course, behind closed doors. And it's looking like now it's going to be a case of being behind closed doors for much longer than the original date of, around October time with the whole coronavirus situation, which is a shame.
Yeah, I think the whole plan was maybe by the start of this season, allowing, I think what was the original numbers we heard, 30%?
Around
something
that.
like that, I think was the original number we heard, but with the way the world is at the moment, I remember watching, I know you didn't watch it last night, Josh, but in the American football, they had a stadium which was 22% full, so there was 20,000 people in that stadium that night. I just don't think we're in a place to do it at this point, and it's better safe than sorry, I guess.
It's a big risk, and talk about big risks. Ben Foster there taking a big risk coming out of his goal towards the right corner flag, getting closed down very well there by the Middlesbrough players. Good opportunity there to take the lead within the first 2.5 minutes of this match. Neil Warnock, I'm just seeing on my screen right now, as I said, 41st season in charge of a football club. He's been the manager of Cardiff City, Rotherham United, of course, now in charge of Middlesbrough as well. It's an interesting one. Where do you see Middlesbrough this season going? Because they were struggling towards the bottom end of the table last season, were really scrapping, largely towards the end. But they're just one of those sides where I honestly don't know where they'll finish.
Yeah, they're a difficult one to place because, I think at the start of last season, you would have said Middlesbrough, around the playoffs would be a good thing for them, due to the pedigree of when they got out of the league a couple of years ago. But they went with Jonathan Woodgate and it didn't work. Whereas under Neil Warnock, what would be acceptable for Middlesbrough, just outside the playoffs, mid-table-ish, would be an improvement from the year before. But if they get in the playoffs, that's a stellar season from Middlesbrough, in my opinion.
I totally agree with you. I mean, as we said before, they've had a lot of brand new signings that have come into the side, and they are actually the team that's starting on the front foot here in these first 3 minutes. A few crosses going into the box. No one there as of yet, but they've got Ashley Fletcher and Britt Assombalonga up top tonight. Hopefully, we could maybe see Assombalonga go back to his best, what we've known him for in the past, scoring plenty of goals in the Championship. He's been a little bit quiet in the last couple of seasons, although he's still scoring goals. It's not a case of he's going on a big, massive goal drought. He's just lacked maybe a little bit of confidence that he used to have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think when we used to talk about, pure goal scorers as Kiko from any drives down the left, I will get back to that point in just a minute. He is cut inside. Lovely reverse pass to João Pedro, and Watford finally getting a breather possession. As I think that's Domingos Quina.
Oh, it's lovely footwork.
Skipping to the outside.
Trying
it
his
is
best.
Nice close controlling. He'll let himself the corner. There.
I'm going to applaud that.
Very good work. Yeah, Ken Sema did absolutely brilliantly there. Not seen much of him. I don't know. Am I right in thinking he was on loan at Udinese?
I think he was for a season. He was on loan in Italy, but I don't think he played a great deal for them.
I'm just going to get his profile up now. But on Assombalonga, you want to see the one that was, when you wanted a championship striker, Neil Maupay you'd speak about. And in these lower leagues, you'd speak of Ivan Toney. So I think Assombalonga was always one of them. However, he's lost that fear around his name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's... once again, I wouldn't say it's been short of confidence. I just think it's... with the way that Middlesbrough have been, last season was very tough for them, and I guess, of course, it's not just about one play, it's about the whole squad harmony itself, and I think if Middlesbrough can get on the ball, get rolling, get some good results, we could see maybe Assombalonga get back into his best form.
Yeah, and his partnership with Ashley Fletcher's really good. I think Ashley Fletcher came on leaps and bounds last year after a few disappointing spells. Obviously, we all know the spell at Sunderland, of course, because he was really poor there. I know I have a friend that's a Sunderland fan, and he said he couldn't hit a barn door if he tried. So it's nice to see him rebirth, and I think the two of them could get the best out of each other. as well, rather than leading the line by themselves. I will just tell you, Ken Sema went to Udinese last year, 32 appearances, 2 goals, but I don't know how many of them were off the bench, so I don't know if he started many games.
I don't think he'd started as many as that, but as you say, it could be sub appearances as well. Right now, Chris has put, actually, Kieran put, of course, I made predictions for the Championship a few weeks ago. I think I put Middlesbrough down as 16th. I know, of course, a lot of clubs have made signings now, but they're just a hard team to predict where they're going to be, because I think it's very important this season to start on the front foot, because a lot of Championship fans, and I don't know whether they'll agree or disagree, think that this is going to be a really close season. There's not one side that really stands out from the rest as the front runner to go and take the league.
Well, did you see the odds earlier? Stoke are like 6th favourites to go up. And I'm like, have you not seen Stoke from the past 3 or so years? They've not even been close. So I think the bookies and that go off name value rather than, what we've seen.
I would have said form as well, because I think I don't know whether Kieran will remember where I put Stoke, but I think I put them in the top 10. I think I put them 6th or 7th, because the form towards the start of the year was incredible. I think they'd won something like 7 out of the 11 games possible. It was something like unbeaten, or they'd won them. It's all about getting the best start possible, because right now, of course, a game like this, maybe right now is the perfect time for Middlesbrough to come up against Watford. First game of the season, a new manager, potentially new tactics, new plays in the side. And if you can get 3 points today against Watford, it's a great result indeed.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you're Middlesbrough, that'd be away from home as well. And you've got to think away trips this year. I know they're not the same with fans, but you look at them teams that just come down, and if you can get points away from home there, that's a very, very successful campaign if you're getting away points here, because people will fear coming to Vicarage Road. I know it'd be more if there was fans, but
absolutely, I agree with you on that one. We're about 8 minutes into this game. Middlesbrough started at the front foot in the first couple of minutes. Watford getting a bit more of a spell on the possession now. A couple of attacks here and there. We had a few corners early. João Pedro with an opportunity back heel, but nobody really showing the cutting edge yet in this game.
No, I definitely agree with you in that aspect. I think we've seen glimpses of teams playing some nice attacking football. I've seen plenty of fancy flicks. I've got to admit, if I take one observation, it's that Ken Sema and Domingos Quina on the ball look some of the best players on the pitch, and it's nice to see these type of players finally get into the squad, because in the Premier League I've got a feeling that name value took over sometimes at Watford.
Absolutely. Kieran's just put in the chat, I put Stoke 11th in my prediction, so they're kind of up there. I mean, the thing is, if you look at last season, it was so close with the playoffs. It went down to the last day. Swansea with the unbelievable result to somehow get into the playoffs literally on the last game of the season. Who knows what's going to happen, because there's a lot of teams that were towards the bottom end of the table last season that have changed things up. You've got to only look at a team like Birmingham, for example, who've brought in Aitor Karanka as their new manager. A couple of big signings in there as well. Championship veterans, you could say. I think they've just recently brought in Neil Etheridge, formerly of Cardiff City, to the club. It's going to be a great season, and that's what KD's put. We said that, didn't we, Josh? This is the hardest season to predict, and I agree with you. As Watford come forward here, an opportunity to whip this ball into the path of João Pedro, but a slight deflection on the ball means it's going to play for a Watford corner. Second potential set-piece opportunity here for Watford. They did have a corner just a couple of minutes ago. Yeah,
that's where they got the flick from, and I think it's Quina is over here to take it as well, a young kid with a lot of talent. And again, he's reversed it to Sema, and that ball's in the box and headed home!
Oh, it's in! What a start to the game! It's 1-0 Watford, and that is the start that they wanted in the Championship.
Yep, we spoke today, Josh, you told me all that youthful exuberance on show, and it's Craig Cathcart with the header. But a nice blend, it was the young lads mixing up on the side, a short corner routine between Sema and Quina, and it's a bullet header into the bottom corner from Craig Cathcart, who just wanted it more than the Borough defender. And what a start for Watford.
It's a fantastic goal indeed, and Watford take the lead in this match. 10 minutes on the clock towards the 11th minute mark here, and it's a fantastic header from the veteran Craig Cathcart to put them in the lead. And my scoreboard on the top left doesn't seem to want to change to it being 1-0, but at least the one on the bottom has. It's 1-0 Watford. What a start to this game.
Yep, absolutely. Great start. And now you know you're testing the mettle of this Borough team, you know. And it's a lovely ball in behind Kiko Femenia. He won't reach it.
Well, I'm glad he didn't, to be honest, because I'm still trying to sort out the top left-hand corner's goal.
That's fair enough. What do you think of this Watford backline? Majority of them staying, you know, Craig Dawson, Christian Cabaselli, Craig Cathcart, Ben Wilmot, obviously young English lad who's getting back into the team now. Do you think that's a really strong backline for the Championship in terms of back 2 or 3, whichever they turn, in terms of centre back?
I think he's got the experience there, which I think is a very important part in the Championship, having experience. And I mean, Bill Wilmot is a great player on his day, and I think if he can, you know, get a partnership together with the likes of Craig Cathcart, he can learn from him. He's got a lot of experience, Cathcart, and who knows what could happen, because you know, Ben Wilmot is a potential, you know, future star, and a great player on his day.
Ashley Fletcher has out-muscled Christian Cabaselli. We talked about their defensive possible solidity, but they're going to be tested here as Fletcher cuts in on his left. He drives.
Oh, just wide of the mark. Oh, that was so unlucky.
I mean, if you're Middlesbrough, you want to get that instant reply, don't you? Because as we say, you want to. If you're Watford, you go for the kill this early on, and thank God there's no VAR because that's offside. But drilled with the left, and apparently it's a corner. I think it'll be for Middlesbrough. Much better from the Teesside team.
Well, the top left has now actually decided to update, which is fantastic to see, because we could have had 2 goals in quick succession, but it's now Middlesbrough's turn to lob the ball into the box from a corner, guided towards the path. I think it was Grant Hull there, but he just couldn't get a touch, and now Watford coming forward again. It's Kiko Femenia on the ball, getting marked by 2 players. He's taken down by Howson, but the referee says play on, and now it's a good chance here for Middlesbrough to come forward. Can they make something of it? It's poor ball there from Dyke Steele. And a foul in the build-up means that Watford are going to get a free kick just to the halfway line. 13 minutes on the clock. At least we've had a goal. No 0-0 draw today, KD.
No, not that ball 0-0. We're not watching England, Josh. Come on.
No, honestly, it was a terrible night having to watch England. And yeah, we could put that in the past now. Fantastic news for me.
Yeah. We may come back to the Nations League, but I think the rule should be no one watches England because we're that boring.
Oh, God, here come Watford on the attack once again. 14 minutes. Bright start here from both sides. Can they make something of it, though? It's an opportunity here, which is lobbed towards Ben Wilmot, trying to get it into the path. I think it was Domingos Kina, but he just couldn't get a touch. Oh, it's a poor ball here from the goalkeeper at the back, Ben Foster. It was a great opportunity there for, I think it was Asan Bolonga, who probably would have took that on first time if he got another touch on the ball. Risky play there from Foster at the back.
Yeah. Foster came out confidently as if to say, you know, I'll volley this upfield, don't worry about it, and then passed it straight into the path. I'm not sure, it might have been a Sombalonga, but it might have been the midfielder Marcus Tavernier as well. I couldn't quite tell. But great recovery tackle from Tom Cleverley.
Absolutely good first 15 minutes of the match. If you are new to streams, always do leave a like and a subscription if you are enjoying the show so far. And tell us as well if you like the brand new setup that we've got for the streams right now. Usually we use StreamYard. Just testing this out for now to see how it looks, whether we use this in the future potentially. But of course, we're very shortly sorting a few things out to get prepared for us to move out, of course, things like that. So when we are in our new area, we are going to be changing up things a little bit. I've got a green screen and everything, so you'll see a few new things on screen very shortly. Looking forward to it though. But right now, Watford, now they've got that goal, starting to get a bit of a foothold in this game.
Yeah, but this young front line is causing all sorts of problems as João Pedro drives towards goal and does unleash a shot. I tell you what, Josh, this front three, lots of movement, lots of great dribbling, great close control, and they're just breezing past these defenders from Middlesbrough. I don't know about you, they just look fearless, and it's really exciting.
They look very hungry. I mean, you've got to think for players like João Pedro. Of course, he's got Glenn Murray. He's got Troy Deeney. I know, obviously, he might not be here anymore soon, but Danny Welbeck still at the club as well. They are technically 3 players that you would expect to probably play ahead of somebody like João Pedro. So if he can get off to a good start, maybe get himself a goal in this match or assist, or just keep playing the way he is right now because he's been a real menace for the Middlesbrough back line, it could maybe put him in contention for a couple more games in the future.
Yeah, it's obviously another new manager, and maybe the culture's changing at Watford. Maybe the days of Deeney and that type of striker might be gone for Watford. But if you listen to his post-match interview about whether it was his last game in football and he swore on the air, I don't think he's leaving anytime soon.
No, and I think at the end of the day, somebody like Deeney would be a fantastic player to have in the Championship anyway. It's the equivalent of Teemu Pukki at Norwich. They've both got Championship experience, and of course, I know Deeney hasn't played there for a couple of years now because he's been in the Premier League with Watford, but no doubt he will score goals in the Championship, and somebody like Glenn Murray as well. On paper, sounds like a terrible signing, but Glenn Murray in the Championship, he's done it before, and he'll probably do it again.
Well, it's always what we say. Like, I think we were talking at the back end of last season. I can't remember. I think it might have been me and KD. And we were talking about the teams going down, and the likes of Bournemouth. Dom Solanke never quite cut it in the Premier League, but at the Championship level, I believe it's a really fresh start for him in a Bournemouth shirt, and I believe truly he can be the top goal scorer in this division this year. If we see the Dom Solanke that was top goal scorer at the Under-19s World Cup and stuff like that.
It'll be a big confidence booster for him. I think sometimes when clubs go down, of course it's always a negative, but sometimes it can turn into a positive. You start some of these younger players and players that have been largely on the bench or on loan at other clubs, and it can breathe new life into them. I mean, this season, João Pedro, if they were in the Premier League, would have probably barely ever started, if not gone out on loan. And it's a great opportunity for him and players like Sema and Domingos Quina to show themselves the quality that they've got.
Yeah, even at the back line, Ben Wilmot, how many starts would he got? Because usually last year I was used to seeing Kabasele and Craig Dawson as the back two for Watford. So a lot of these players, and I think that's why Ngakia chose to come here over renewing his contract at West Ham, because he knew at the Championship level he's going to get more game time. And the other day they talked about the England lineup and about Calvin Phillips. He plied his trade in the Championship for so long. This is where players come from, getting experience in leagues like this to make the next step.
Absolutely. It's a really good league on its day, and the important thing is I don't think there's been a season for a couple of years now where it's not competitive, whether it be down at the bottom and teams scrapping till the end, or whether it's a fight for the playoff spots. I can't remember the last season where something hasn't gone down to the final day. It's one of the best leagues in the world for how competitive it is. It's not the best league in the world for quality. It's just some of these teams that have come down. On paper, you'd expect teams like Watford to just go straight back up. But the amount of times we've seen clubs come down from the Premier League and not make it back up. Look at Stoke as the perfect example of a team that hasn't gone up straight away. It's so competitive, and that's why we bloody love it.
Yeah, I remember someone put on Twitter the other day a picture of this Watford team and put, "This should be illegal for the Championship." Someone replied with the first team Stoke fielded in the Championship. And they've not been up since, yet on paper it should have walked the league. So I think it's the same around all of the EFL, because you'll know League One, so difficult to get out of. League Two, extremely difficult to get out of. I think you get more and more competitive games and more competitive leagues in these steps below the Premier League. As much as we love the Premier League, let's be fair, apart from the one-off Leicester season and maybe Sheffield United, you can copy and paste the league table every single year, really. And yes, it's fun, but in terms of competitiveness, it doesn't have the same bite to it as the Championship does.
Completely agree. And that's the great thing with the Championship. You can't copy and paste the league because the amount of times we've seen teams go from being playoff contenders to having to scrap for relegation. I mean, Middlesbrough are a fantastic example of that. The likes of Cardiff last season, although they did make the playoffs for a large spell when Neil Warnock was still there, they were scrapping towards the lower end of the table, and that's why I love the Championship. And I'm a Rotherham fan, by the way. Kieran Ellie's a Hull fan. But we are going to have a tough season because, for me, looking at teams, I find it very hard to find where we can pick up points.
But in a way, the Championship is such a week-to-week league. One day you will knock off the champions or what they seem to be champions, and the next week in a relegation 6-pointer you'll lose.
Yeah.
And it won't make any sense. The team that wins this league is consistent. That is the only way you get out of the Championship, is consistency. But there is such a lack of it at this level that it doesn't make any sense. Because you mentioned Middlesbrough about that. Like, the year before last when we got relegated, I think with 2 games to go, we were only like 4 points or 6 points off the playoffs last year. So to then a year later we're in League One. It's such a week-to-week league.
It's honestly, it's crazy. It just shows how quick things can change for clubs. I mean, and of course they've had financial issues, but you can look at the likes of Bolton and Blackpool and teams like that were in the Premier League not too long ago and now are sat at the lower ends of the EFL Football League. We're 22 minutes in here. Watford 1-0 up against Middlesbrough. Craig Cathcart with the first goal of the Championship, and it's been not a bad start at all. Both these teams coming out trying to give it their all. It's been a lively first 22 minutes. And if you have enjoyed the stream so far, do leave a like and a subscription. This is actually our first EFL game that we've covered live as Middlesbrough come forward. Great opportunity to bring Longer. Good save from Ben Foster.
Yeah, good save with the feet of Ben Foster. And how crucial will an experienced head be like him? And what a goalkeeper to have in the Championship, because he was a real shining light for Watford last year. Not any of the blame for going down was on Ben Foster. He had a lot to hold his head up high about, but there you go. Middlesbrough take confidence from this sort of attacking play.
It's a good chance for them, and it's a ball into Britt Assombalong on the far left-hand side, trying to hit towards the near post. It's kind of hit towards Ben Foster, but a player of his quality, Ben Foster, I mean, he could quite easily fit into teams like West Ham, Newcastle, the mid-table teams, and to be fair, I think probably a couple of the big teams would have took him on as an English player. A team like Spurs, for example, who went for Joe Hart, I think, had Foster been available, wouldn't have surprised me if a club like that had come in for him. But, I mean, on paper, he's the best Championship goalkeeper by a country mile.
Yeah, he has a great track record of... I mean, he was where was he at? Was he at West Brom?
He was, yes.
Yeah, so he's been around the block as Ben Foster, but as you say, the likes of Scott Carson are getting signed for the top team. So, but I think Ben Foster is probably one of them players that still believes, unlike, no offense to Scott Carson and Joe Hart, but his performance level hasn't dropped below minimum average. Like, yes, he has a few average games, but some games he's man of the match, even though they lose 2-0.
And that's why, teams like, I think he could fit into a team like West Ham or Newcastle and just slot straight in the team. I know, of course, they have likes of Fabianski in that, but I think even teams like Fulham and West Brom and teams like that would have took him on if the opportunity was there to have him. And I mean, Kieran James Dillon's put another ex-United legend, Ben Foster. So another one on the pitch today.
Yeah, there's so many ex-Man United legends. If only Thomas Kuszczak would get a game, he's an ex-Man United legend.
Chris has put a few comments in the chat. He says, I think Brentford, Watford and Forest will get promoted this season. My only worry for Brentford is key players leaving. How will they reinvest the money that they've cooped up? Well, of course, great signing for them in Ivan Toney as a replacement for Ollie Watkins. I think that's a great like-for-like replacement, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we know as that's drilled across the box, it's going to fall. Fletcher and Assombalong are just getting each other's way. And the ball will come the other way. We'll get back onto that point in just a minute as Howson flicks a lovely ball in.
Lovely! Oh, my lord. Well, that was a superb ball from Howson.
It was. And Assombalong, if he's just a couple of inches taller, is nodding that one home, but sadly couldn't, just evaded him with that cross. But what was we talking about?
We were talking about
Brentford.
Ivan Toney.
Yeah, Ivan Toney, he scored goals at League One level, and they got Ollie Watkins from Exeter. And I don't know if you saw, but Exeter got 3.5 million from that deal
Wow.
for Ollie Watkins. So that's kept their club not afloat, but for a team in League Two, that's a lot of money.
It is indeed, and I do like Ivan Toney. Played, to be fair, he played quite well in that Carabao Cup game. Didn't score, unfortunately, for them in that match, but he looked very confident in that game as Middlesbrough tried to come forward here, but Ben Foster comes off his line to pick the ball up. We're about 26 minutes in here, and his heavy ball there from Ben Foster could have quite easily been dispossessed by the Middlesbrough team, but now it's Watford coming forward. It's Domingos Quina on the right-hand side. What can the youngster do? Tries to lay the ball towards João Pedro. Does very well to get the ball on the far left-hand side of the pitch. Just building up some play here right now, coming forward once again. Watford laying it into the box towards João Pedro. Does get the shot on. Slight deflection on the ball. João Pedro looking very lively in this first half an hour.
Yeah, it's that front three again, with Quina on the right-hand side. And I think Sema came in from the left to give a bit of build-up play help as well. And then the ball in from Ngakia was a lovely drilled pass. But, it's one of them deflections where you keep your eye on it just in case it bobbles in. But it's just evaded the far right-hand post.
Has indeed. Watford have got a corner here. Can they make the same opportunity that they did about 12 minutes ago? Lofted towards the box, but good bit of a defensive work there at the back. Although it is bobbling towards the near post. Good clearance away. I think that was Grant Hall, but it comes back into the box again. Another good clearance, but it's not convincingly cleared away. And I think it's going to be another corner for Watford here. Nervy defended at the back for Middlesbrough right now. Grant Hall trying his very best to clear the line.
Yeah, they went for the same short corner again. But Middlesbrough were wise to it. It's one of them. If you try it once and you score from it, just leave it for a little bit until you try it again. But
I think they've listened to what you've said there. I think they're going along this time.
Yeah, it's one of them. You've only got. It's like when you do a routine and it's offside, even though you've scored, and you think, well, we can't do that one again because you know what's happening. But that has gone.
Here. Oh, it's a lovely header, but it's just wide of the mark. And I think once again, it's João Pedro. He's looking like the danger man for Watford tonight, and he's completely unmarked. It's a really good ball. I think Domingos Quina was the one that whipped it in, and he just runs towards the penalty spot, completely unmarked. Does get his head onto it, but it just goes wide of the left-hand side of the post, which was being marked, and I think it wouldn't have gone in anyway had he have got the right connection on the ball. But Vladimir Ivic's side are looking very lively in this first half an hour.
And very impressive as well. João Pedro, sadly, he's not quite had the finishing touch tonight. But the way he's been playing, I think, worthy of his selection. He's creating problems. And when you're a striker, you get yourself in them areas. And eventually one of them's going to go in.
Absolutely, and we're about to get towards the half an hour mark of the first game of the EFL Championship, and technically the EFL this season. Is Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0. Perfect start right now in this first half an hour for Watford, although very, very poor touch there from Ngakia means that Middlesbrough are going to get a very cheap throw-in. You can see on your screen right now, you should be able to see the schedule for some of the games that we're going to be covering in the next couple of weeks. We're still trying to work out which games we're mainly going to be covering, but the ones that we've looked towards for the Premier League, they are on the bottom of your screen right now. So some big games on there. 20th of September, Chelsea taking on Liverpool. God knows who we're going to see in that match. Of course, we'd expect maybe Timo Werner to be starting that game. Wolves, Manchester City, the day afterwards. Going to be interested to see what Wolves can do. Fabio Silva, new striker. Is he going to start? Who knows? And then tomorrow, our first watch-along of the Premier League as the season starts. Liverpool against Leeds. It's the winners of the Premier League against the winners of the Championship. I don't think we're going to see the likes of Rodrigo start that match, but it should be a good game on paper.
Yeah, I saw the thing is with Chelsea as well. You talk about these new signings. I've heard that three of them might not be able to start. Ben Chilwell being one of the three. I didn't read the article, to be honest, so I don't know the other two. But some players, especially, I think we saw it with Watford as well. They've got players like Stipe Perica, who they've signed, but they can't quite start yet because no pre-season means these players might not be fully fit.
Absolutely. We've still got another month of the transfer window left, so we will potentially see some more players join clubs in the near future. And as for those that have just joined in the last week or two, as you've perfectly said, unless they've played some international football, they're not going to have played any pre-season or got to know the tactics of the clubs that they've just joined, which is why I don't think we'll see Rodrigo start tomorrow. Played for Spain a couple of days ago and probably hasn't had any time in Leeds yet. So I don't think we'll see him start for a couple of weeks. But that's tomorrow, 5:30 for that game. It will be live from about 5:15 for that match. It will probably be. I'm not going to say who's going to be on that one yet because we don't know. But that'll be about 5:15 tomorrow for that game. But 31 minutes on the clock. Middlesbrough coming forward. Some good defending at the back here. Although they are getting it towards the right-hand corner. And that is going to get a play for a throw-in. And some very interesting defending there at the back. I think it was Chalobah doing a bit of work there.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to look at this Watford's injured contingent, which they've just shown on the cameras. Even Andre Gray, completely forgot about him. We know what he's like in the Championship. Brilliant striker. So he should be back, and Welbeck, and I think on the right there is Stupinan and Luis Suarez, players we've not seen in a Watford shirt, but have got a lot of potential. So that's Will Hughes as well, another player.
No Deulofeu in sight either.
No, he's at home nursing his ACL.
Of course, the classic ACL injury. We've got a corner here for Middlesbrough. Lob towards the box. Can they make a goal as well from a set piece? The answer is no, they can't. And maybe Watford here can come on the counter-attack. Kicker from Elliott on the ball. It's cleared away. And it's not the most convincing clearance in the world, but a bit of simple clearance there for Craig Cathcart.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good clearance from him, but then even a better one from Tom Cleverley, who I think was just trying to get the ball down the line, but he's failed massively in that aspect. And see, if you're Middlesbrough, they went 1-0 down rather early. As Jed Spence is on the right, drill it across. Oh, it was touched back.
Oh, it really should be 1-1. Talk us through that opportunity. Although Middlesbrough are still coming forward here.
And they're going to get a free kick for that. It was a strange one. I don't know about you, Josh. Jed Spence made the overlapping run round the right, and he drilled it in. And the player that was at the front post appeared to, instead of going for goal, try and flick it to his teammate, which I think was Ashley Fletcher making the on-rushing run. But the two of them weren't on the same page, and eventually it was cleared by the Watford players. But what did you think of that opportunity? Very strange sort of kind of flurry of play there.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the replay right now. In that kind of situation, you just take the shot on first time, no matter what. Whether it's a terrible connection, whether you don't even touch the ball, just take the shot on because the goalkeeper's position is towards the far right-hand side. If you could tap it towards the left, you're 1-1 back in the game, although they've got a free kick here. Alexa's joined the stream. Hope you're all good, Lexa. Thanks for joining us, buddy. He says, seeing Ivic on the touchline is so lovely. Let's hope they don't treat him like Jokanovic. And he's put also a nice haircut, Kieran.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Alexa. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll get my hair cut soon. We've got a free kick here for Middlesbrough.
Got it before I had to listen to them all. For prices, 15 quid as a discount. You're joking.
Yeah, it's very expensive down there. Ball's going to be lofted into the box. Not the greatest of crosses, although it's bumbling about here. And it's being cleared away. And yeah, I'm going to have to pay the expensive prices to get a haircut, but that's my fault. As Dijksteel gets the ball, he's going to hit this one long towards the path of Assombalonga. It's going to come down here. Not the greatest connection in the world, but it's a great opportunity here, surely for George Saville. He's on the far left-hand side, going to lay it off into the path of Johnson, who's at the corner flag. Deflection on the ball, but it's going to be a goal kick.
And I tell you what, for Middlesbrough, these chances that they're getting, they all appear to be coming from, bobbling balls, and especially back to that opportunity earlier. No one seems to want to take the shot. Instead of, they're always looking for a teammate. You just need someone to command that box, command the area, and try and get some shots on goal. Test Ben Foster, even though he is a very accomplished goalkeeper.
Absolutely. It's his first game in the Championship for God knows how long now. I can't even remember the last time he probably played in there. And there will be nerves no matter what. You want to impress the manager on the day. It's the first game of the season. It's the first match of the EFL. You know the majority of clubs will probably just watch this game on the background. There'll be a lot of people watching this game tonight because it's not necessarily the only game going on, but there's a lot of people that just watch the EFL because of how enjoyable it is. But big game for everybody tonight, as I said before, specifically for the front line. For those players like João Pedro and Sema to really show themselves that they're worthy of the Watford shirt.
Yeah, definitely. And we've always said these games in the Championship, as you say, that they're prove yourself games. And I think tonight, so far, I think this Watford 11 has proven to be very defensively solid. You know, a few mistakes here and there, sloppy play, but that's always going to come with no pre-season, you know, and nerves, etc. But overall, I think the front three have really stole the show so far with some great movement. And as we say that, they've given away the ball.
Oh dear! Just to say that, I think the good thing as well is it doesn't feel like a pre-season game. The problem we have with the Nations League, and I know that's international football, which usually is quite boring itself for the Middlesbrough coming forward here. Asamoah driving forward, finds himself in the middle of the pitch. Good 1-2 with Tavernier, leaves it back to Johnson. Now it's with Tavernier. He's going to hit this to the far left-hand side. It's McNair making a driving run. Now it's towards Johnson. It's a poor cross.
Yeah, it's that final ball, and João Pedro is in a foot race with Dijksteel at the other end of the pitch, and the 18-year-old, you know, he'll fancy himself one-on-one. Dijksteel shepherding him to the byline and does absolutely fantastically well to clear the ball there. And Alexa put in the chat about our Prem predictions, and that we'll do that at half-time as Fletcher flicks it over one volley towards goal.
Oh. Well, that would have been a fantastic goal for the first game of the season. You can see the look on his face. He's thinking, I wish that had gone in the back of the net because that was an opportunity and a half there for Middlesbrough. Yeah,
they'll be talking about that one for years to come. I remember last year, Ashley Fletcher scored a stunning half volley. I don't remember if it was at the Hawthorns or not. I think it might have been.
I think it was.
And that was a wonderful volley. I think he saw his name in lights after flicking it over one. It was Wayne Rooney street striker stuff. But didn't quite get it in. And Chalobah appears to have gone down with the clutching at the ankle area. So I'll go back to what Alexa said about the Premier League and stuff. Do you want to do that at half-time as a little bit of a topic?
Yeah, we'll do that at half-time. I think we're going to expand on it as well because the podcast is back in 5 days' time, and the first episode we're going to do of that isn't going to be a proper episode. We are going to run through the 5 main leagues and talk about some of the important talking points over the summer and the head of the new season. I know, of course, Ligue 1 has already started, but we're still in a good position to be able to make predictions and things like that. So that's in 5 days' time, but it'd be nice to very quickly talk about the top 4 and see what we think about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll save it for half-time because you know what it's like during half-time. I'm sick of seeing Snoop Dogg and his Just Eat advert, to be honest with you.
I'll be getting ready for that when iFollow comes on tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait. Hull City v Gillingham, depressing first half, and he's there talking about his rice wraps, rapping to me. No, Snoop, it's not the time. It's not the time.
I know, of course, we play early tomorrow, 12:30 kick-off for us. So our game, get it out of the way. You know, if we lose, then we don't have to worry about it. We can go into the 3 o'clock kick-offs and, you know, just push our result to the side.
Are you on TV then? Because I know Sky usually have a Championship game rather than a Premier League game at 12:30. Are you on Sky?
We're not on Sky, no. It's something to do with, I believe, policing in Wycombe to why it's been shifted over to half-time. It was something very stupid. I can't remember what it was, but we're on at 12:30, so it's a shame we're not on Sky, because if not, I would have done a watch-along, and you could have watched me react to Rotherham being Rotherham in the Championship, but sadly not, no. I think it's Bristol City who are on tomorrow. I can't remember who they're facing, though.
Yeah, well, you know, if we do the Carabao Cup, sadly you're out.
Yeah, we're out of that as well.
If we do the Carabao Cup, you might get to see me react to Hull City's game against Leeds United in the Yorkshire Derby. But there are some games on Sky as well, so maybe we'll do something to do that. But as we say, at the moment, it's just the Premier League ones listed down below that are set in stone because things are constantly moving, aren't they, with this new TV deal and stuff like that.
It's a busy time not just for football, but for us as well. So we're going to try and see what games we're going to do. We are looking at doing the Carabao Cup goal show. Of course, we know the Carabao Cup is midweek. It'll be a very long Carabao Cup goal show because there are games at 6, games at 6:30, games at 7, games at 7:45. So it might be a case of some of the boys join us at 7, some join us at 7:30. But we'll give you more information a little bit further on once we know what's happening. But 4 minutes left of this half. Do you think maybe Middlesbrough can nick a goal here late on, or do you think it might end 1-0 at half time?
Do you know what? Either way, even if it ends at 1-0, at half time, I think Middlesbrough will be quite happy with the way this first half has gone. They haven't been outclassed by this Watford team. They'll be infuriated from a set piece where people switched off and with that short corner. But I think overall, Middlesbrough have had the moments, and I think Neil Warnock could say much more of the same, but maybe, gamble, take a chance, and try and put this Watford defence under pressure, because they've been solid, but they haven't been stalwart by any mean.
No. And I think the key thing for any side in their first game against a former Premier League club is to not think of them as Premier League opposition. I can't speak for footballers, but I think a lot of footballers who come up against a side like Watford will think that Watford are far inferior to their side. Technically on paper they are, but if you go out there, show a bit of flair, as you said, take a gamble against a side like Watford. There are players in this squad that haven't played in the Premier League, haven't got the experience like the others do, and for the ones that have played in the Premier League, this could be their first time playing in the Championship, and it's a learning stage for Watford.
Definitely, it's their first feel for the game as well, so it's hopefully that's not a bad one for Queener, but I don't know if that might be a groin strain the way he was holding that there, because he was stretching for that ball. There is a foul, as Paddy McNair didn't get there first to a lofted ball, and Queen had looked in an awful lot of pain after a successful half. But if you're Watford, this is your litmus test, for the Championship, maybe for games going forward. And as we said, if they dominated tonight, these could be a force to be reckoned with. I know it's a week-to-week league, but still, you're picking up that confidence, and this team, once it gets going, would look unbelievable. I don't know what you think, but really, really good tonight. Not great, but good.
It's a very good start, and it comes back to the point what I said before, the fact that with the Nations League, I know it's international football, it's never fun to watch anyway, but that really did feel like pre-season level football for the majority of the matches. This doesn't feel like pre-season, and of course, these teams have played friendlies anyway. I think Middlesbrough played Newcastle a couple of days ago, beat them, I think in one of their matches. It might be in Stoke, actually. But they've played games, and it's a good pace for the first match back, considering, these sides will have only had a very short amount of time for pre-season just because of the quick turnover from the previous season.
Yeah, we've had one goal, but I don't know about you. There's not been many lulls in the game where I've sat here and gone, there's not been an opportunity for the past 5 minutes. Yeah, there's been sloppy moments and the ball's been given away and not the greatest attacking football, but it's created chances and it's created moments. As I don't know if you saw that from Chalobah there. That was a martial arts kick clearance.
Although Keane has gone in for a foul here and the referee has given a free kick for a not so acrobatic clearance or tackle. But you can see right now Sky just putting up the action areas in the last 10 minutes. The Middlesbrough attack has only had about 8% possession in that last 10 minutes, which proves your point of how Warnock will be absolutely, I wouldn't say delighted with the first half, he'll be happy with what he's seen so far. And as you said, it's all about taking a gamble against this side. Maybe a little bit of trickery or skill will be the one key factor that could get them an equaliser in this game. As we hit the 45th minute mark, I don't think there's going to be any additional time added on, so we could see the whistle blown very quickly here.
Yeah, I think it's an any minute now sort of job for this first half, but I think you're right at the point of, the second half, or the last 10 minutes, I should say, has been played very much in Watford's half, which Middlesbrough will be happy about. And I don't know, I'm reflecting on the game, and Watford have looked good, but also they've not really troubled Bettinelli, the goalkeeper. They've been deflected shots. They've been shots that have passed past the post, but nothing of real intent from Watford. But I think both teams will be okay with this first half. Could have been worse, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. First game, always key to get off on a good start. There is 2 minutes of additional time, by the way. It just took Sky forever and a day to tell us how long additional time there was. But we've seen some very good matches for the very first game of the season. I think last year, I think the first game ended 3-1, 3-2, something like that. It's just about get the first 3 points on the board. It really can kickstart your confidence. And so far for Watford, they've not, as you've said, really tested Bettinelli as such. We've had a couple of good opportunities where João Pedro has come forward, as Middlesbrough come forward here on the ball. It was an opportunity that was lofted from number 29, which was spent, I think, towards the path of Howson. Well, there's going to be a long-range effort here from Howson himself, which just goes wide of the mark. And it's that little opportunities like that. Yes, it wasn't the most convincing opportunity in the world, but test Foster. Really give him a go, because you don't know if he's really going to be keeping his eye on the ball as such.
Yeah, apart from that Assombalonga chance, Foster's been mainly a bystander in this first half. But, if you get him thinking and you take a few long shots, then you might leave space for the overlaps as well, because people close you down knowing he's had 3 shots already, let's close him down. And it'll just leave gaps. It'll get that Watford defence, out of shape, and hopefully leave space for Middlesbrough to pass into. But hopefully, very happy with the first half, and hopefully even better in the second.
Absolutely. Half time of this game. Not being a bad first half. Not being the most amazing first half in the world. But it's not been boring, which is fine for me, considering I had 2 very boring England games to watch not too long ago. But it's Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0. We talked about the youth of the squad. It was the veteran Craig Cathcart with the goal. Lovely header into the back of the net to put the former Premier League side into the lead of this game. And as we said before, both managers will be probably happy but not delighted with their performances so far, being 2 very decent-looking teams, considering the pace of the matches we thought maybe would have been a little bit slow. But at half-time of this match, first Championship game of the season, well and truly underway. And it's just nice to see the season kick off again, because although it's been a very short amount of time between the break, we had the Champions League and the Nations League not too long ago, it still feels like a long time since we last watched the Championship, League One and League Two football.
Yeah, it feels like a welcome back almost, even though it hasn't been too long. But I think me and Will were talking about it last night, because obviously the NFL season kicked off, and we said this appears to be the quickest kind of off-season in history, and that may be because we had a gap of a couple of months, in March and April and May, and then when football comes back, it seems like it's been non-stop since then. So to have 2 weeks without it was almost like that was too long, even though we had 2 months without it not so long ago. Strange.
It is really strange indeed, but it's just great to see, this is the first match day of 46. We've got 45 more match days to go, and still we've got plenty of games to come up in match day 1. Just to give you a quick rundown of some of the games that are coming over the weekend in the Championship. The 2 games tomorrow, it's Brentford at 12:30 on Sky Sports. They're going to be playing off against Aitor Karanka's Birmingham. Birmingham at home in their first game, so it'll be interesting to see how Karanka does, of course, in the Championship. Then Rotherham, of course, fellow Rotherham fan here, we face off against Wickham away from home at 12:30. 2 former Premier League sides in the last couple of years, Huddersfield. Their new manager, Carlos Corberán, former Leeds assistant. He's going to be taking on Daniel Farke, Norwich City. Be interested to see how they do. They've kept a lot of their big stars of the previous season, the likes of Buendia, Pukki. How do you see Norwich doing? Because they've got a very good side on paper.
Well, it's the team. It's basically the team that got them out, if we're looking at it in reality. Because, as we say earlier, no offence to Norwich, they finished rock bottom of the Premier League, and none of their players. I don't think people were chomping at the bit to get any of the players, maybe apart from the 2 fullbacks and Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia, of course. So, it depends if Emi Buendia is going to stay for the whole window, because he's by far their most creative player and the player that's going to give Pukki the chances to go and score. For me, Norwich were ahead of schedule when they walked the Championship the first time. I don't think they're walking the Championship this year, and I think Norwich are a playoff team this year. I don't think it's automatic for them because it's the same team that got them out, but people are wise to the style of football now under Daniel Farke. So,
It's
and oh, 1 second, and Pookie is their only goal scorer.
That's the point I was going to come on to. Of course,
Well,
team with Pookie smashed the championship when he was there. He lost a lot of his confidence in the Premier League. He had a fantastic first start, got Player of the Month in the Premier League that first month, and then really just fell off a cliff for the rest of the season. If he can get his goal scoring form back, do you think we could see the Pookie of the Championship before return, or do you think maybe he will score goals but not as many as he did when they were last in the Championship?
I just like to see Norwich spread the goals a little bit more because Pookie gets struck down with an injury. God forbid it doesn't happen, but I'm interested to see the likes of Adam Idah step up, the young lad who looked great in some cup fixtures for Norwich. So maybe that's their star of the future that they rely on. Still got Joseph Dermich as well, I'm pretty sure. Or is he
They
gone?
have,
I'm sure they've.
indeed, I think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, but for me, I don't think Pookie will be as good as the season they got promoted. And also, if I'm a Norwich fan, I mean, I don't mind if I'm going up, it doesn't really matter, but I'd like to see more people chipping with goals because you never know when injuries hit.
Absolutely. There's a couple of other games going on as well in the Championship this weekend. Two teams you might expect to be towards the bottom of the table. It's a big game. It's only game number one, but every point counts. Barnsley, who survived by the skin of their teeth last season because of Wigan's point deduction, they go against Luton Town, who were scrapping towards the bottom end of the table last season. Preston, they take on Swansea. A lot of big players Swansea have lost. Mike van der Horn at the back. Ryan Brewster, of course, the most significant loss of them all. Could we maybe see Swansea struggle this year, do you think? Or do you think the signings that they've made might help them to fight towards the playoff again?
Lost Bersen Selena as well.
Conor Gallagher as well.
Again, we're just listing the array of talent that they've lost. For me, I don't want to say this. They deserve to be in the playoffs because they got there, so it doesn't really matter. But they were never, for me, it helped them that they were never spoke about, if you get what I mean. Like, when we were talking about the playoffs, we appeared to be set in stone that it was going to be Cardiff, Forest, Brentford and Fulham. That seemed kind of set. There was teams in and around that area, but it seemed set in stone. And if anyone was going to drop out, it was Cardiff, not Forest. So they were very not lucky because they did extremely well to get there. But in other circumstances, I don't think they would have made it. So for me, I think that they'll look for another good year. I don't know where you put them in your predictions, but they have lost a lot. And Ryan Brewster, before he came to that team, they were mid-table. So without him, maybe they're just mid-table again because I don't know how they're going to replace his goals because that's what they were struggling for in the first place.
I think that's where I put him. I think I put him around mid-table and said it's very hard when you lose the majority of your big players. You know, Gallagher went back to Chelsea, Brewster went back to Liverpool, who now looks like he potentially will be sold on for cash. It's going to be tough for them to continue to the same vein as they did last season. But they come up against Preston. Alex Neil, that's 3 o'clock tomorrow. Gary Rowett, he returns to Stoke as Millwall, who did very well last season. Go up against Michael O'Neill's Stoke side, who have been, as we said before, tipped by the bookmakers to be up there towards the playoffs. Be interested to see how they do this season, of course. Parachute payments are running out for the club. God knows what's going to happen there. Cardiff City, they're going to go up against Sheffield Wednesday. We already know, of course, Sheffield Wednesday have got that minus 12-point deduction. They've got a lot of work to do, and against a Cardiff side that, of course, were in the playoffs last season. Bristol City, their new manager, comes up against recently promoted Coventry, winners of the League One. QPR, they face off against Nottingham Forest. Do you think Sabri Lamouchi, can he get Forest into the playoffs? Because it was a terrible, terrible collapse last season. Or do you think maybe once again it's going to be a tough season for them and they miss out?
Well, every season's a tough season in the Championship. I think that's the moral of this story. But for me, they've got to fight on from where they were last year. You know, First year under Sabri Lamucci, I think maybe it's a year and a half. I think.
I think it's
But
the
either way,
first year.
yeah, it was the first year last year, so it depends. I agree with you in terms of it depends on the hangover that they've got from that sort of capitulation because they should have been in the playoffs. They would deserve to be there. They've done everything, but you when you, as you said, politely capitulate at the end of the season like that, you're gonna have some of that mindset still within the squad. So if they can get up to a good start, I think we'll definitely see them in playoff contention come May time. But if they get off to a bad start, I feel it'll be a long uphill battle for a team that's mentality would be shot.
It could be indeed. They've signed a few players. We know, of course, they signed Lyle Taylor quite recently. Leeds have moved to Celtic. Going to be interested to see how Lamucci does. And then the last two games, Derby County take on Reading, and recently relegated Bournemouth take on Blackburn. So there's all the fixtures in match day 1 of the Championship. Right now, half-time of our game tonight, the first game of the EFL season. Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0. If you've missed it so far, Craig Cathcart, the veteran with the goal in this game from a corner. Lovely set piece, lovely header into the back of the net in that game, and it's put Watford 1-0 to the good in this match. But I think we should go on to the point we were going to talk about half-time as well. Top 4 of the Premier League. What are you thinking?
I think there's been obvious teams that have made a hell of a lot more investments than some. So you look at Chelsea, I think they're the biggest spenders this summer so far. But how much of that is Premier League proven? Apart from one in Chilwell. So it's people are putting, Werner in the conversation for the Golden Boot. I don't know about you, but I need to see it first. Because for every Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, there's a Vincent Janssen. So Werner for me has the quality to be a great striker, but I think you have to look at teams that have made investments and teams that have improved in the off season. So I think you've got to look at Man City as league winners. Do you have to do a list, or are you doing a list, or?
I'm just gonna name my 4 off. Yeah.
I won't tell you where I'm putting them then. Man City, because again, as I've said to you many a times, every time something goes wrong for them, they just throw money at it and it seems to fix everything. It's magical how money works. So they'll be up there. And they always are. I'd be very surprised if they're out of it. Do you think it's Pep's last year?
I honestly don't know. It's a tricky one because I genuinely think it really does depend on the Messi situation. If Messi wants to leave at the end of the season, could Pep maybe stay on a little bit longer and try and influence him to come to Man City? And then that could really help his project. But then at the same time, could it be a case of they could win the Champions League next season? You don't know, and technically what he's wanted to do, he's done. By the way, the Watford Ways has said hi in the stream. Welcome, buddy. How are you doing? 1-0, obviously up right now. Good game for you so far. But I think with Pep Guardiola, God knows, he's a man of mystery when it comes to him staying or going.
Yeah, I think, again, to be fair, it comes into the Premier League predictions. Will Man City be sidetracked by this Champions League hoodoo that they can't get past the quarterfinals? So when it gets to that stage of the season, when the Champions League games are, every single week almost, or every other week, because obviously you get 2 rounds of fixtures, will they, not sacrifice the league because that squad's too big, but will their mind be elsewhere? Because we know they can win the league. We've seen.
Oh, it's cut off for a brief second here. Why is it gone? Oh dear, Kieran has vanished right now. I apologise about that. I can't hear Kieran. Maybe it's my internet, I don't know, but we'll bring Kieran back in a moment. Apologies about that. Slight technical issues. We always like to have a technical issue on the show. I don't know whether Kieran's internet has gone or not. I will give it a brief second here just to see what happens. But with the whole situation right now, as you can see the scoreline, Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0. Craig Cathcart with the goal in this game. And it is saying right now, if you can hear me, Kieran, it is saying you're talking, but I can't seem to see you. So we'll sort that problem out before the game does kick off for the second half, and hopefully we can get Kieran back because it just seems to have disconnected. I don't know whether his internet has gone, or whether it's mine. As far as I'm aware, it isn't mine because I can see the stream is going no problem here. But it is always an interesting conversation with the Messi thing. I mean, Kieran has put in the chat, Kieran D, said, I think Pep goes no matter what after this season. God knows. It's an interesting one. Kieran L said that, is it going to be the hoodoo of trying to get the Champions League that is so focused on that maybe they miss out on the Premier League itself? But I'm not going to make my prediction until Kieran's back in a moment. He's gone for a second there. He should be back.
Hello?
I can hear you now. I think we should be able to see you. There we go. You're back on screen.
Where did I stop? I don't know where I stopped.
You were just talking about the Champions League hoodoo, and then it cut off.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I just think where their head will be at in terms of the Champions League. I apologise about that. I don't know if you've gone through your predictions for the top four, but I went with City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and I was torn between United and Arsenal, but I went with United.
Is that in order, or is that just random? Isn't positions?
I put it in random because I left that for Will and Kieran to do their predictions. By the way, I put hello in the chat because I didn't know whether I was here or not.
Yeah, no, it was weird. I didn't know whether it was my internet had just died or whether it is yours or not. But at least we know you're back and it's all right. I'm going to make for my top four. Man City, Liverpool. There's something that makes me feel like, I don't know why, Arsenal seems to be screaming in my head, and I don't know why. And I don't know whether it's just because of the feel-good factor right now at the club, the fact that they won the Community Shield and the FA Cup and the whole Arteta effect. But I'm going to leave them out and say United. I think we should be back. My apologies there. Wi-Fi seems to have played up a little bit. We should be back. Hopefully now. Apologies about that there. We should be back for the second half. So the second half has kicked off of this game. Apologies about that. My internet there. Dan, give me 2 seconds here. And we should be back underway. But we are into the second half of this match. 47 minutes on the clock of this game so far. Apologies about the technical issues there. Just slight bit of a cut-off. My Wi-Fi went down for a brief second there. Blame Virgin Media. They're terrible. Don't bother going for them if you live in the UK. But we should be back for the second half now. 47 minutes on the clock. I'm going to get the time started up here so you guys, of course, can link up to the time of the game right now. 1-0 as it currently stands in this game between Watford and Middlesbrough. Hopefully, we can have a good second half of football. So the timer should be back up on your screen in a moment. There we go. The timer is back up. We are ready for the second half of this match. Give me 2 seconds here as we just saw a few things out for this game so we can bring Kieran back. Of course, right now seems to be having a few technical issues on my behalf this time. Apologies about that. So I'm going to quickly sort those out, although now I can't seem to get out of Discord. Give me 2 seconds here. So the second half has started of this game. You might see a blue screen right now. Apologies about that. Try and sort that out in the background. It doesn't seem to be wanting to connect back up right now. Absolute nightmare. I always have to have a nightmare on the first start of the stream's return. But Watford 1-0 up. Great game so far for the opportunities. But I can't seem to get back on Discord. What is going on right now? Unbelievable situation. What's going on? Give me 2 seconds and we'll sort this out. There we go. We're back again. Just jump in there. Give me 2 seconds here. But the second half has started of this game. You might see a big screen right now. My sincere apologies. We are back. We should be back.
We should be at bloody. We're both on Virgin Media anyway, because we know how that likes to ruin our day.
Yes, it does. It was my internet this time. Apologies about that. Virgin Media just trying to messes over there. Right, my screen's going to pop up very quickly. That's so I can get everything sorted out. It is going to...
That's alright.
It comes up with a message. I don't know why it does that.
That's okay.
Stop streaming that. Click on video. There we go. Right, let me flip that around. turn video off. There we go. And then I can bring you back up in a moment. But yeah, we're back on. 49 minutes on the clock right now. Middlesbrough 1-0 down in this game. Apologies about the technical issues we've just had. I'm going to try and get Kieran back up on the screen because right now all I can see is my Elgato screen. If you run us through the game, Kieran. Not been really any big opportunities in these first couple of minutes.
No, thank God it's not been a 7-goal thriller during these 5 minutes because we wouldn't have been able to talk through any of it. But at the moment, there was just a chance there where there was a drilled pass cross-field to Quina, but he couldn't quite get it under his control, so it just went to the feet of Bettinelli. But it's that front three as well. As João Pedro tries to through ball Sema, but he puts it a little bit too wide for the Swedish striker. And he'll go and be cleared until there's a stopping play. I think it might be an offside call.
Well, the good news is I've got you back on the screen. There we go. No technical problems are going to mess our stream up. It wasn't... It was actually my Wi-Fi there that just completely went bust for a second. So at least I know it isn't Streamlabs. That's the problem, because the frames are back to normal now. But we're back. We can properly get back on with the game. 50 minutes on the clock here. Oh, we go again.
Yeah, we do go again because Virgin Media likes to attempt to ruin everything fun.
It does.
It's overcome Sunday, so no Virgin Media.
No, and that's a good thing for us because we both have it and we know how painful it is for us. And I was worried there for a second it was Streamlabs, which is the software that I'm using right now that had cocked everything up for us. But it isn't. So at least I know it's just Virgin Media being Virgin Media. But 51 minutes on the clock here, you can see just above is the timer of what I'm currently seeing on my screen in terms of the goals. Everything's sorted now, lads. It is indeed. We're back up and running again. And we can enjoy this second half of football as Middlesbrough try to take it on to Watford and get that equaliser in this game.
Yeah, I mean, no changes at half-time. I'm not surprised by that, to be honest. I don't think there was any necessary changes for either team. And I think it sums up what we said, really, that both teams would be reasonably happy with what they saw in the first half. And Assombalonga on the turn takes a strike at goal.
Ooh.
It's just wide.
Just wide of the mark. Good chance there. He's had a couple of little opportunities tonight, but still waiting for his first goal of the season.
Yeah, I feel he's getting a few sighters in, and we said they need to take a few more risks. You know, this team defensively, and when Middlesbrough seem to get in the box, they appear to be very shaky. So, what do you do to cure that? Just shoot from outside the box. Maybe it'll take something magical, but if it gets you back in the game, it doesn't matter. As the corners on this left-hand side, it's going to be whipped in, and it's really bad.
I mean, it could lead to a quick counter-attack here for Watford, and that's exactly what they're doing. Coming forward, it's Tom Cleverley. Can they make something here? Trying to dance his way around. It's number 20 on the ball, which is Domingos Quina. Good tackle there from Johnson.
Brilliant tackle. It was one of them where young lad like that with his fancy feet will send you every which way with his step overs, but brilliant veteran move. Just watched the ball and slid in and got his team back possession. And now Middlesbrough try to build something as they go forward.
And here they come, trying to make an opportunity. Not the best ball in the world from Dijksteel. Once again, if you've just joined, apologies about the technical issues a moment ago. Virgin Media trying to make sure that our first EFL stream doesn't go off to a cracking start. But no, we're back again. It's all good, no problems on Streamlabs. We shouldn't have these Wi-Fi issues in a couple of days. But we continue on, we soldier on like we always do. We always say it, but we don't go a stream without a technical hitch somewhere, whether it's somebody being on mute or the Wi-Fi going down.
Yeah, we're either on mute, sounding like robots, disappearing completely. It's all fun. Do you know what this is, Josh? It's the COVID internet era that we live in, where everyone has to be connected via a Wi-Fi signal, and sadly, we have the worst one in Virgin Media.
Unfortunately. And unfortunate for Middlesbrough, there's a free kick for Watford. It's a little bit too far out to go for goal, or even really taking anything on. Cleverly's going to hit here. And it's played back
sideways,
sideways, and then back to the defence again. But here
it is like watching England, but there is an overlap from Kiko Firmino on this left-hand side, and he will retrieve it. But you know what he wants to do? He wants to cut in on that right. He's not a modern-day left-back. Obviously, Watford losing Jose Holebas about 2 or 3 days ago now. He's gone back to Olympiacos, I think.
Yeah, he joined the Greek club a couple of weeks ago now. Good signing for them. I mean, he was getting on a little bit, Holabas, and his former club as well, Olympiacos. So I can't blame him for going back to, a club where he's had a lot of good times there. But
Yeah.
as for Kiko Femeni, as you said, not typical left back. I know, of course, they've got Ngakia as well today, which is an interesting player to watch. Very good for West Ham last season. I think he got their Young Hammer of the Season reward, and to be honest, he's probably picked a better club right now, considering the state of West Ham.
Exactly. It's another one letting go of. And the fact is, I think, well, I know this won't be good for West Ham fans to hear, but at least you got money for Diangana. You got £0 for Ngakia after he came in and did a job at right back for you for a few games last season. So again, I don't know what the aim is there, because if he's choosing to go and play in the Championship instead of playing his trade in the Premier League, it's either something wrong with the club or he didn't get the assurances that he wanted. And fair play to him.
And I think it'll probably be a mixture of both. I mean, the club is an absolute shambles in itself, but he probably wasn't getting the game time that he wanted to. I mean, they've got the likes of Masuaku, who can play at left back. And I think he can even play at right back sometimes, but they've got the likes of Fredericks at the club as well. And I don't blame him, because at least he knows at Watford right now he's going to get a good run of games. Sam Cohen, welcome to stream, says, do you know who Trevor Chalobah is? Do indeed.
I do know who Trevor Chalobah is, and I think the one on the pitch is Nathaniel, but Trevor Chalobah is that man's brother, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure he is. Middlesbrough coming forward here, though. Good opportunity to run on goal. Can they make something of it?
Nice attempt by Jed Spence. A really good young and up-and-coming right full-back, Jed Spence. Definitely, I prefer him as a wing-back, is what I think he's playing tonight, because he's been very advanced. I remember him against Hull. He made a driving run down the right-hand side, and it's one of them where you're just like, someone's going to make a tackle on him, but he's so fast on the ball. And do you know, one of them where you just will tap it past you before you know it is round you and putting a cross in the box. A big future for Jed Spence.
He's two teams as well playing for at the back today. So he's playing, as you said, like that wing-back role right now. Really, really good game for him so far. But Middlesbrough here is getting a bit of possession of the ball. Shortly possessed there by, I think it was Sema. Now going long ball to Hassan Bolonga, who just tries to get a touch on the ball, but it runs out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, I don't know whether this will be both teams' tactics going forward, or Middlesbrough have tried to match up Watford, and Watford have tried to match up Middlesbrough, and man for man across the pitch. So there's no system difference between the two teams. So it really is who plays better on the night, rather than tactically what teams have tweaked. So I think they have gone just man for man tonight to try and match each other up across the park.
Absolutely, and I mean, these first 15 minutes, about 12 minutes to be fair, not 15, have been a little bit slower than they were in the first half. But Watford, they'll be happy right now, not conceded any goals. Middlesbrough still need to try and get that cutting edge right now, take a few more gambles in this game if they want to get at least a point from Watford as they drive forward here. It's Jed Spence on the ball again on the far right-hand side. He's going to lay it off. A lovely play there, trying to get it towards Saville. It was Dijksteel who made a bombing forward run there, but he just couldn't get it into the path of Saville. Although they're coming forward again here, cleared away, and it's going to be, I think, a throw-in, if I'm correct. Looked like it was a throw-in for Middlesbrough, just where the corner flag was.
Yeah, and it was a nice attacking move from Middlesbrough down the right-hand side. I think they are utilising that more. Maybe they see a weakness with Kiko Femeni as a right-footed full-back, but it's not prevailed so far.
No, I think we will see a few changes very soon as well in this game. I can't see it being too long. We're an hour in right now to this game. There'll be a lot of players who, although they've had pre-season, will be a little bit more tired than they usually are, although cross placed into the path. Think of Hassan Bolonga, who couldn't get there, although they are going to get the ball back here, Middlesbrough in the middle of the pitch, and it's going to be McNair on the ball, going to hoof it up long, trying to get an opportunity on goal. Here's Hassan Bolonga to the far left-hand side of the field, going to try and lay it off to path of Johnson. Now it's McNair trying to drive forward. Dijksteel. You can see the back three here trying to work the ball. Grant Hall just joined recently from QPR.
Yeah,
Constantly, yeah.
lots of inter-championship moves, and that's going to go out for a corner to Middlesbrough again. A bit like the first half in the fact that lots of the play being played in Watford's defensive third. I think was it 46%.
I think it was. There was a lot of possession for Middlesbrough in the Watford attacking phase for, I think, around the half an hour mark. They were really coming forward and getting chances, but they just seem to be lacking that cutting edge right now. And I'm just looking at the substitutes to see who they could maybe bring on in this game. They've got 2, 4, 6, obviously 7 on the bench. They've got Dale Fry, if they need something at the back. Lewis Wing, Marcus Brown, maybe. It's not the strongest looking bench in the world. And as for Watford, they've got Glenn Murray, new signing, of course. Ignacio Paceto, who joined in the Premier League, but hasn't had a great deal of time. And another player I think a lot of people forgot about, former Liverpool player, Jerome Sinclair.
Another player who was on loan at Sunderland and was rather underwhelming. I think his loan got cut short actually at the mid-season mark when he was there. So a lot to prove for him, but a few players. I think maybe Glenn Murray. Look at him there. He's getting his top on now. Looks like he's going to be coming on rather soon, and I'm excited to see Ignacio Paceto because I haven't seen much of him in a Watford shirt really.
Well, João Pedro looks like he's just died on the pitch there. He's had the ball whacked at him. Not at the greatest speed in the world, but he's just collapsed to the floor and he's back up on his feet now. He's all right and he seems to be okay as Watford come forward here. But a little bit of Brazilian diving there, you could say.
Yeah, he's got... I've got to admit, he's got one of them words. When you're winded and it does feel like you can't breathe oxygen for a good 5 minutes. So...
I mean, I'm just seeing the comments right now where thank you for everybody who's joined us. I don't know what's happening in there, but thank you very much. Greatly appreciated.
Josh, you have become the heartthrob of the EFL Championship is what I'm learning. And I think, and major simp, you are being simped over, Josh.
I don't know why, but yeah.
Well,
simping over it. I'll take it.
Yeah, when you're watching EFL Championship on the TV, you've got the pundits like Akinfen, where no one looks at them and drops the Snapchat for him. But only you, Josh. So there you go.
That's the world of social media. We love it. Here comes Middlesbrough on the ball.
Going backwards, which it's one of them. I know you've sometimes got to go backwards to go forwards, but I don't think they'll be too worried. There is 28 minutes to go, to be fair. They don't need to rush anything just yet.
Yeah, it's just being patient right now. There will be opportunities in this game when Middlesbrough can come forward. And just to say that, the referee's given a free kick here in a decent position. It's Chalobah who's given the ball away. Could they maybe make something of this?
Not sure who their dead ball specialist is. I think on the Ashley Fletcher Assombalonga sort of highlight reel before the game, saw one of them bag a free kick, but I don't know how often they take them. So... we'll have to see.
Well, here we go then. Free kick not too far away from where the box is. This is a good opportunity. I would expect somebody like Howson to be over this. Tavernier is standing over this right now. And if they can get a goal back in this game, this is a big opportunity to really make the last 20-25 minutes of this match very interesting.
Yeah, Sombalonga's over it. We've seen him do it in the highlight reel. But update, apparently Emily Jones is a man. Man, woman, animal, not bothered. If you subscribe, you're all welcome to talk about the EFL Championship. We're not subjective here, so if you drop a subscription
We've
and
got
come
a diverse
back,
audience. We love it.
Oh, yeah, anyone's allowed to come and tune in here. But speaking of... what corner is speaking of, like that was a good segue.
You tried. We've got the free kick here. About 25 yards out. Assombalonga's standing over this as well, which is somebody I wouldn't have expected to have been standing over it, but he's had a couple of good opportunities in this game so far. And if they can make something of this free kick, we're about 26, 25 minutes away from the end of this game, although the referee's having a quick talking to here. About the wall and positioning of players. I feel like this is going in. I don't know why.
Well, some in fixtures concerning Middlesbrough, I've seen one free kick and it was Herbie Kane. So if they can hit it like him, Then we're on to a winner, but 2 people over it. It will be a Sombalonga.
Hits it, and I tell you what, it wasn't a bad free kick, but it's just tipped
No.
over the bar by Ben Foster there.
Yeah, it tested the goalkeeper. It's one of them where it's too central to really go in. But Ben Foster has to deal with it, and he does tip it over the crossbar. So a nice drive from a Sombalonga, but it was never troubling him when it's not in one of the corners.
No, once again, testing shots, but nothing really coming in this game so far for Middlesbrough. They're just lacking the cutting edge in this game to get an equaliser and get that point. But they've got a corner here. It's going to be whipped in by number 7, which is Tavernier. What can you do here? Into the box. It's a lovely cross, but it's just over by Grant Hall, who hits it on the volley. But in that position, very hard to compose yourself and get that into the back of the net.
Yeah, it was in acres of space. He lost Chalobah, who, again, I saw in the chat that Trevor Chalobah's very good at PlayStation, but Nathaniel Chalobah's not very good at marking because Grant Hall was in acres of space, as you said, but I think centre-halves don't really work on their volleys, as Ken Semmer is replaced by Glenn Murray.
Well, here we go. Wow. This is it. Glenn Murray's first start for Watford. It's very weird to see him in a Watford shirt, but signed on loan from Brighton. Scored plenty of goals in the Premier League and the Championship. He's got 25 minutes here to try and double Watford's lead. Yeah,
it weirdly feels like with Deeney and Murray, Mr. Watford and Mr. Brighton both playing for Watford.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's weird seeing him in a Watford shirt.
Yeah.
But
it is.
We've got a free kick once again here for Middlesbrough, just a little bit further behind the halfway line. A few players getting forward here. Can they make an opportunity from this? I don't know, but they're going to loft it towards the path of... It looked like it was going towards Spence, but they've made something of it here. It's going to come towards Asombalonga, who does get a shot on. Foster's made a save, but he's come back to Asombalonga again. He's on the far right-hand side, heading towards the corner flag. Still got the ball. He tries to whip in the cross, but it's a poor cross, and that's another wasted opportunity.
Yeah, a miscommunication, I think, between Ben Foster and I can't remember if the centre-back was Ben Wilmot or not, but still, again, Middlesbrough have really kind of dominated this second half. I don't remember a chance for Watford in this second half.
No, they've been very, very quiet, and it's not been as energetic compared to the first half, which wasn't really energetic massively itself, but now it kind of does feel a little bit like pre-season level to a certain extent. Middlesbrough, again, another free kick here. This time it's a little bit further in front of the halfway line. It's lofted in towards no one, to be honest to you. It was a really poor cross, and trying to come on the counter-attack here, João Pedro, but some good defending from McNair means that it's going to stop the opportunity for Middlesbrough to come forward in this match. Still 1-0 to Watford.
Yeah. Massively poor ball by Marvin Johnson, It's one of them, I think it's the most frustrating one for the centre-backs. You send your big men forward from the defence and you can't miss the first man. I think that's one of the most infuriating things. It's one of them, do you know when you're losing a game and you send all your big players forward and then you take a short corner and get dispossessed? It's just one of them. It's really frustrating to watch.
It is indeed. Middlesbrough coming forward again here, although the referee's going to give another free kick. It's free kick central right now for Middlesbrough. It's, I think, a foul there from João Pedro on Johnson. And this time it's towards the bottom left-hand corner of the field, about 30 yards out. I'd say 30, 35 yards out from goal towards the bottom left. This is a good opportunity to whip this in towards the centre-backs who have come forward here for Middlesbrough.
Johnson to make up for his last ball, and he didn't, because it was headed clear again.
Really poor there, and Spence tries to hit it on the half volley. Fair play to him, would have been a lovely opportunity, but he hits it with the outside of his foot and goes a little bit wide of the goal there, but good chance for him. And opportunities like that, we said earlier, Middlesbrough, they just need to try and, use some opportunities they have, take a couple of chances that they usually wouldn't, and test Foster. But right now, even with 17 minutes on the clock, it still really doesn't feel like Foster's been tested majorly tonight.
No, apart from maybe that Asombalonga free kick, but it's again, I don't know if the players were on the same page, because they showed the replay, and I can't remember. I think it might be George Saville ran over the ball. The core of players in the box for Middlesbrough made a run into the box and then had to backtrack as Marvin Johnson lined up. So I don't know if it was either all part of the tactic or it was miscommunication, but not everyone on the same page for these set pieces.
Absolutely agree with you right now. Very poor with the set pieces. They've had plenty of opportunities, Middlesbrough, and you probably could say they've been the better of the two sides in the second half, but still, without a goal in this game, and with 20 minutes to go, we've already seen Watford make a change. I guess we might see one or two changes for Middlesbrough soon. Do remember as well that the substitutions rule, as far as I'm aware, is now back to 3 substitutes in the EFL, not 5. I know it's different across respective leagues across Europe. We are back to the usual system of 3 substitutes. Do you think that's the right decision or not to go back to 3, or do you think it should have stayed as 5?
Just looking at the stats, by the way, I know you can see that in the bottom left. In the second half, Watford haven't had a shot or a shot on target.
It just doesn't feel like they've really had any touches in Middlesbrough's half, to be honest.
No, 3 passes into their box. So, but onto the substitute thing, it's one of them where 5 subs during the restart of the season, I actually quite enjoyed it. More players getting some more playing time that you wouldn't usually see, and more players getting brought on who could, change the game and make it maybe more entertaining game. As when it gets that last minutes, if you've got no subs left, it's just 11 people that are knackered and just kind of want to go home. So I think I don't mind it being back at 3 for the pure fact that without this whole coronavirus thing, no one had ever brought up 5 substitutes anyway. So I think that 3's fine just to go forward. But I did enjoy that little moment with 5, because it's one of them things that we doubt we may ever see again.
Totally agree with you. And I remember when Ole made all of his 5 changes, and it's one of those things where you'd probably do it on FIFA, wouldn't you, when you can make like 11 changes in your friendlies and you take everybody off and you see all the players lining up on the pitch. It's one of those moments. And like you said, we said it before with the Champions League, with the whole knockout system of it being one-leg games. These things would have never been brought up had the whole COVID situation not took place anyway. So I think it is right to go back to the 3 substitutes rule. But throughout the watch-alongs that we do across the season, you will see the rule be a little bit different across the respective leagues. I know La Liga, Bundesliga, they're sticking with the 5 substitute rule as well. But for the Premier League and the EFL, we are now back to the usual 3. We are going to see... Well, it looked like we were going to see substitution, but we're not going to see one.
No, Jerome Sinclair looked stripped and ready, and then he went and put the bib back on. So I don't know if maybe a change of heart there for the manager. But obviously Watford have already made one change in the likes of Glenn Murray. But nice to see him, if he does carry on like this, Ivic making attacking changes at 1-0. Not settling for the 1-0 victory. As a lovely footwork by João Pedro. He has got that Brazilian flair. And is that Mark Navarro?
I think that is. From what I can see, I think it is Mark Navarro coming on.
Wow, because he's not played for Watford for ages. I like this. I really do, because it feels like, all Watford's loan people of the past have come back, and you're like, wow, I forgot I had him.
Yeah, they've had a hell of a lot of players out on loan. Watford got Connie back here. I think it was from Cabasella. They're going for the speculative, but nowhere near. He's going to stay up there for now as Watford come forward again. Can they make something of it here? I think it's Keeney on the left-hand side going to lob the ball into the box. It's a good cross, but Cabasella was trying to get there. Good defending at the back from the Middlesbrough back 3 tonight, and they try and come forward on the counter-attack, but it's a very heavy ball towards the path. I think Fletcher, who does somehow get a touch, but it's cleared away once again, and good defending at the back there for Watford. And I agree with Kieran in the chat. Poor second half overall so far. I was going to say, when you said about the stats earlier, Watford not had a shot in the match so far, but you can't necessarily say that it's been an onslaught of opportunities from Middlesbrough either.
No, and overall, I know it's not been the greatest second half, but it has been quite end to end. And I don't know about you, I've kind of enjoyed watching this second half. It's not been as full of chances as the first, but it does seem to be a really even matchup tonight so far, and it may not be for everyone, but I've enjoyed it personally. It's
not been a boring game. It's been poor, but it hasn't been boring.
Yeah.
I know a boring game when a game's boring. I've played as many boring games. Just look back at England. But it's not been a bad game. There's been opportunities here and there, and with the way that this game is panning out right now, you could very easily see Watford go up and get the second. and make Middlesbrough just rue all these missed chances.
Yeah, but, opposingly, I could also see Middlesbrough nicking a point because of how much possession they've had in the opposing half and how many half chances, I'm going to say, they've managed to create as Kiko Femenia kisses his shin pads goodnight, I guess, and strolls off the pitch to be replaced by the legend that is Mark Navarro.
This is what the Championship brings you. When teams get relegated, this is what it brings you. Players like Mark Navarro, as you said before, not play for Watford for what feels like decades. He's here on the pitch now, playing in the Championship, and that's what makes it so special when teams do come down. The different players you see that you usually wouldn't have seen in the Premier League coming to the squad, and Kieran's put in the chat, seems very open this game, which I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough, they've not really had many chances at all, but Watford still very much feel like they're well and truly in this game and with the lead. And he asked as well, of course, did you see PSG? Their loss yesterday, missed a lot of players because of COVID. And talking about players that you'd rarely see, Jesse Rodriguez was playing yesterday for PSG.
Wow, that is a player you barely ever see, and if you do see him, he's at a different team every time. But not surprised that they lost if they had to rely on Jesse Rodriguez for some help. So not surprising. I think it may have just been an early slip up though, because they'll have Mbappe back soon in about 2 or so weeks after he's recovered. So they'll run away with it again, I think, this year. I know we're doing that, on the podcast back, but if any of our guys, maybe bar Rowan, has anyone but PSG winning, then it's very, very wrong.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of players. Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, Verratti, Marquinhos, they're all missing. But Middlesbrough come forward here, trying to get across into the box. Desperate clearance away. It's not the best clearance in the world. It's just bobbling ball right now towards the box. He's headed back in there. I think it was number 22 got the head of Saville. Still lingering in the box right now. Here's Saville on the ball, takes a touch. Was originally going to go for the shot, it looks like. Still got the ball. He's pushed play down. The referee gives a free kick. Waste of an opportunity there from Saville.
Yeah, it's again though, I don't know about you, it's like when they get in and around the box, they all just seem to lose their minds what to do. So there is a sub though, as coming off will be number 22, which is George Saville. His last impact on the game is dragging a man down to be replaced by Lewis Wing.
Yeah, it was the right time to make a change. It's one of those moments where I think if you're Warnock right now, if you come out of this game 1-0 with a loss, you probably will feel a little bit gutted that you haven't come out with at least a point, because they've not dominated. But in the terms of, you look at the stats of the second half itself, Watford haven't really done anything at all in this second half. They've not been open, but there's been opportunities in this match to nick a point or a win. The amount of set pieces they had in that first 10 or 15 minutes that they really poorly used, and Watford are coming forward again here. Bit of poor defensive work at the back right now, and it's João Pedro on the ball. Going to lay it off into the path of, I think it's Domingos Quino on the ball there. It is indeed. Now he's Cabasele, going to lay it back to Domingos Quino. He's in the middle of the pitch right now, still going, but good defending from Middlesbrough. And Dijksteel here can pass it around the back and try and push Middlesbrough up top with 12 minutes left of this game. They really do need a goal because time's running out.
Yeah, they did the Joss Caswell watch-along special, which was passed back to the centre halves. We love when it gets recycled to the back four, or back five in this case. They've got even more defensive because you're here, Josh. And again, Ben Foster dallied on the ball on a pass back. It appeared like he could have struck it at any point. Waited for Ashley Fletcher to get extremely close, but the ricochet is harmless as it only goes out for a throw-in on the left-hand side. But I tell you what, Josh, if he does that in the box, he's asking to be punished.
There's been a couple of times where that's happened now. We've said, once or twice in this match, a couple of speculative passes. Right in that first kind of minute or two, there was the moment where he came running out of his box towards the corner flag, which I think he had to do anyway, but it was risky in itself. But we've got 11 minutes left on the clock. Can Middlesbrough get an equaliser, or are Watford going to get the 3 points, the first 3 points of the season in the EFL? Nervy times if you're a Middlesbrough fan.
Yeah, again, it's an early time for your team to go top. So if you take a picture after this game and you're top of the league, that's what every fan wants.
And every point, it really does. Every point counts at this stage. You don't know whether a game like this, you could be looking back at the end of the season and wishing you picked up the points in this match, knowing that it was a missed opportunity for you to be, maybe you were 3 points off the playoffs and this is the game you look back at. Or maybe, Middlesbrough could be down there again this season. And this could be the game. Oh, it's a crunchy tackle, but the referee.
Oh, I love that.
That's a beautiful tackle.
That is what I want to see in my football. What a crunching tackle by Johnny Howson, but it's all the ball. I don't know about you, if you see that in the Prem, how often are they getting given as a free kick because it was a little bit of a hard tackle?
Well, that's what I was going to say. You just don't see those tackles anymore. I think the last time I saw a tackle like that was Scott Brown in the Old Firm derby when he went in with a sliding tackle. But it's good to see tackles like that not given as a foul, because as you said, if it's the Premier League, usually we're giving that as a free kick.
Yeah, it's one of them whole excessive force things, even though it's a lovely, lovely tackle, in my opinion, personally. But you love to see that from Johnny Howson, a very old-fashioned centre mid.
Beautiful tackle. That's the moment of the night so far. KD's put, it's the DFB Pokal tonight. Eintracht Braunschweig, they're 5-3 up against Hertha Berlin. TSV Halesse are losing 2-1 to Mainz. I'm guessing that must be the first round of DFB Pokal action. Yeah,
definitely. Because did you say Hertha Berlin were getting beat by Braunschweig?
Yep, 5-3 right now.
That sounds like a bloody entertaining game. I mean, I don't think I'd swap it for this one, but very entertaining.
DFB Pokal goal show. No chance.
Hey. Oh, wow, I was going to say, don't count your chickens, I'm ready to cover Braunschweig next week if it's available.
We're going to be doing the Coupe de France goal show at this rate.
We do love a goal show, but we would have to get squad numbers and the history of the football club so we know how long they've been around for.
And to be fair, we just have no time ourselves for ourselves in general. By the way, apologies as well. I'm going very dark in the background, of course. It's very... obviously it's quite dark now here at night time, but I have bought some lights, so when we do change the setup and everything, there will never be a dark moment. So I've got some LED lights to brighten up the area around me, because I always like to look back at the streams. At the start it's very bright, and then you fast forward 2 hours in, it's just completely pitch black.
Do you know what? I kind of like it, because when technology moves on and in the next coming years, and they ask me, how did I used to tell the time? Well, I used to look at Josh's background, because when it was this bright, it was midday. You're the new following the sun from east to west, you.
I am. That honestly, if technology stopped and nobody was able to tell the time, just look at our videos and you'll be able to know. Apparently, as if you're ignoring my messages, you cheater. Apparently, I'm a cheater, according to the Emily Jones in the chat. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know, honestly.
Well,
I can't be ignoring your messages if I just read that one out. So there you go.
Exactly. I like how you're covering your back. At least you've done one of the 18 that have been sent. No, we had a conversation about it earlier, and we said as long as you subscribe, you can come in and be a simp for Josh all you like.
Exactly, and it is free to subscribe, so you can simp for free. That's the great thing about YouTube.
Yeah, and Josh is a simp for subs.
I am.
Is what.
I'm a big simp for subs. Honestly, I never thought I'd be saying the word simp on this channel.
No, neither did I, but Assombalonga did have a long ball in behind there. I kind of interjected because I thought he was free, but after that cross, he is very poor.
Oh, it's very, very unlucky there. 1-0 though, still to Watford right now. Good opportunity there for Middlesbrough to come forward. Assombalonga. Lovely touch there, but he just couldn't seem to be able to get an opportunity on goal. I honestly don't know what's going on in the chat right now. 83 minutes on the clock.
I don't know, Josh.
I've got no idea what's going on.
Is Josh about to tell me he's married with a wife and kids that I don't know about?
We've got 6 minutes. Honestly, if I did, I've got no idea. 6 minutes left on the clock. Middlesbrough. I've got no idea what's going on. I didn't expect this to be the first thing that happened on our first game of the season. But Middlesbrough, I'm guessing we'll see another change soon, but they're coming forward once again here. Tavernier, he just can't get the ball. So unlucky there, because you think if Tavernier got a touch, maybe we could have seen Middlesbrough on the attack.
Yeah, it's been... A weird second half, both in YouTube and in this is YouTube's a weird place, isn't it? Anyway,
It really is.
we'll get back to the football because there's not as much waste we've got. I tell you what, a Sombalonga calling Wilmot all problems, and he's
Oh,
sacked them now.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Do you know what? Give
I
credit
mean,
there for Aston Bolonga for trying to stay up for as long as he possibly could, because 9 times out of 10, usually a player would just go down in that instance.
yeah, because to be fair, Ben Wilmot was clutching for dear life to a man as he as he ran away. He knew he was beat, so he just hung on to his arm for as long as possible before Sambalonga finally hit the deck, and it's a free kick to Middlesbrough. Unbelievable.
KD's put, Josh is a closet 28-year-old. I am indeed, just don't tell them. 5 minutes left on the clock. This is a good area. This is a very good area.
This is an well, with Marvin Johnson's deliveries today, this is not a good area. But
Well, no,
he's not on it now.
And that's the right decision, to be honest, because he's been very poor. It's Tavernier who's on the cross.
Yeah, and I can see Johnson lining at the back. He might come from assister to goal scorer. Well, he's not assisted anyone, but he tried with it with his poor crossing. We'll see what they can do from this. Hopefully, it's something as it's whipped towards the middle of the pitch, and it's glanced.
It's another opportunity. It's another good opportunity for Aston Bolonga tonight. And once again, just all you've got to do is guide that header to the ground. And you've got a great chance of that bobbling to the back of the net. I mean, you can see the replay here right now. It's a poor header.
Might be one of them where it's come off his shoulder after his head. I'm not sure. Instead of his head, I should say. But we talked about a man of his calibre up front, and he's a name to fear for strikers in the Championship. He was always one of them. But maybe it is a confidence thing, and he really would have wanted to get off to a firing start today. But his overall play hasn't been bad. It's just Middlesbrough's lacked that goal tonight.
They have indeed. 3.5 minutes left of the 90. We might get a little bit of additional time, but it does feel like Middlesbrough are running out of time to get something in this game. Mm-hmm. Watford still pushing for that second goal in this match, trying to go long ball towards the path of Glenn Murray, who can't get a touch, but they've got the ball back here, Watford, and maybe they can make something of this opportunity. Really rare attacking chance in the second half, considering the lack of opportunities on goal, and Glenn Murray's making a run forward here.
On the wing, marauding winger, Glenn Murray. I think holding it in the corner now with 3 minutes to go. I'm not a fan of that because you've still got 3 minutes. Plenty of football still to play, and he has been dispossessed. But I don't know what you think. But with 3 minutes to go, I think that's not really a time we should be looking to the corner just yet.
No, I agree with you. There's still opportunity in this game. Middlesbrough are going to push players forward. And this is a great chance at this stage of the game to potentially, go and nick that second goal and end the game once and for all. By the way, somebody new to subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing. Greatly appreciated. But there's going to be plenty of space in these last couple of minutes because although it is game one, Middlesbrough, they will potentially feel like they deserve a point in this match, and I think they do, to be honest. But for Watford tonight, you could say at the same time, although Middlesbrough have been bombing forward, they've been pretty fairly defensively organised tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really remember Watford causing many problems apart from the early stages where João Pedro had multiple opportunity, and this is a nice chance for Daniel Phillips, the young player. I think is going to be the one who's coming on, and is another player that maybe it's due to all the injury problems, but a door is open for him tonight. I know he's only got 2 minutes, but if he puts in a stellar performance, he'll probably see himself on the bench again next week.
Absolutely. 88 minutes on the clock. Kieran's put only 99 off 800. Slowly working there. And then the other comment, I've got no idea what's happening in the chat. God knows. Honestly, mental night on the sports corner. You don't get this content anywhere else, although you don't get a tackle like that anywhere else. The referee's played on.
I like this ref. I tell you what, tonight, he has let crunchers go. And that is what I love to see because no one's getting injured. It's just a meaty tackle is what I'd call it.
I mean, we've had a lot of tackles in the first bit of the second half, which he was right to give, but he's really let this game flow as much as he possibly can. And give him credit for that. There's not really been any bad calls from him so far. Whips in. He's lobbed it towards the box and he's missed it. Oh, it's a good save there. Foster just, I think, gets a fingertip to the ball. And in that area, he's out of his box any player that's around where the ball is being hit towards, which is just in the middle, I think, it's kind of hit towards the penalty spot. Foster's come out. Anybody who's there would have surely had that in the back of the net.
Yeah, at first I thought Ben Foster had come out into absolutely no man's land, and I thought he was flapping at the ball, but did just get enough on it. And I tell you what, if he doesn't get anything on it there are two people at the back post that are just ready to tap that home, and that sub is being made. Daniel Phillips is on for Domingos Quina. Good performance from the young lad tonight.
Very good performance. Looked really good. I mean, the second half, as I said before, hasn't been the most exquisite attacking play by either sides. Middlesbrough with the more of the opportunities. But we are hitting the 90th minute of this game. There is going to be an additional, let's hope we don't have to wait, 4 minutes of additional time. Can Middlesbrough get an equaliser in this game? A long cross that nearly went into the back of the net, but very simple there for Ben Foster to catch. A bit of an awkward curling ball there. And Ben Foster is going to take his time here with 3 minutes left on the clock. It does feel like Watford here are going to take home the first 3 points of the EFL calendar as Foster finally hits the ball all the way up towards the path of Glenn Murray.
Maybe it says a lot as well. I don't know about, maybe I'm looking too much into it, about what Neil Warnock thinks about the depth of his team. He's only made one substitute tonight, whereas Watford have made all three. Maybe because he did say before this in an interview that he wants to add 2 or 3 more players to his squad. So maybe he doesn't trust anyone to come on and change the game because, Watford looking refreshed with the new legs, and Middlesbrough have looked tired all night, really, in terms of creating chances. Very, very lacklustre in the finishing touch. But what's your opinion on, Middlesbrough tonight? And obviously they probably do want to bring in a few more players due to the ones they lost, but how much positives can you take from that?
I think you can take a couple of positives tonight. You can take the fact that Watford haven't done anything pretty much in the second half, attacking wise, and to be fair, they really didn't do a great deal in the first half either, apart from the 1 or 2 opportunities. So defensively wise, they've looked pretty fairly organised tonight. I'll give them credit for that. Really good performance in that respect. I mean, attacking wise, they've not really shown a great deal. Asombalong has had a couple of chances on goal, but wasn't really able to guide any into the back of the net, and I think it's just working on that finishing. It's a tough place to play, Watford, no matter whether it's the beginning of the season or the end of the season. They're going to be tough to play, but give credit tonight to Middlesbrough. I don't think they should be too disheartened if they do come out of this game without any points. Yeah,
I think overall, defences have won tonight. Both teams have been really solid. And it's that one set piece, which I'm sure Neil Warnock will be kicking himself over, because at this level you never want to concede set pieces. But if this is to end 1-0, which at the moment it looks like it will, because Asombalong has given away a foul, and I don't think you'd be too disheartened. Yes, annoyed, but not disheartened by the performance.
Yeah, absolutely. There's positives to take away. And as for Watford, I don't know whether Ivic will be as happy with the second half. Maybe that was the approach. Let them have the ball, see what they can do, and we sit back and defend, which I just don't think it is, because, as you said before, he's brought on players as João Pedro's given man of the match by Sky, and credit to him, he's had a good game with the couple of opportunities he's had on goal in this match. But it's both teams have played all right tonight. Both teams haven't played terrible. Lovely work from Foster there, because I tell you what, one wrong bit of positioning there for Foster as he goes in, and that could easily have been a penalty, but he just collects the ball, calm, patient, doesn't panic.
And it's offside, so it wouldn't have counted anyway, but even if not, it was an absolutely brilliant bit of goalkeeping. But yeah, as we say, there's been a good tempo to the game. It's been very open, and of course we've seen a lot of games at pre-season pace, and this one luckily wasn't at that. But I think there are more exciting games to come. But I don't know about you, for a kick-off game, it was quite good. And Glenn Murray, I thought he was going to go for volley. I was getting excited there.
Very unlucky there. I mean, that would have been a good opportunity. Although free kick for Watford here. I mean, if they can score the second goal of this game,
go on,
go for it. You might as well.
Yeah, go on. Don't do a short corner. Come on, we've got short free kick. So we've got 94 minutes. Mark Navarro, make me day.
Here we go. This is it. Going to be the last kick of the game. Free kick. If they can make it 2-0 here. Of course, it's game over anyway, pretty much now. The 3 points are most likely going to go to Watford. But it'd be nice to end off with a lovely free kick.
Yeah, If it does go in, because I know I'm 2 seconds ahead, I'm sorry, I'm not holding back the cheering for a Mark Navarro free kick if this goes in.
The man's waited about 5 years to play for Watford.
And this is it. This is how you announce yourself as the starting left back with a right foot.
Here he goes.
That is not how you do it. That's not how you do it either. That's not how you do it. Oh dear.
Do you know
and that will be over.
It is indeed full time of this game, and Watford take home the first 3 points of the Championship season and the EFL in general. And well, attacking wise, they weren't necessarily too convincing tonight, but neither were Middlesbrough. Really good performance, I've got to say, from both sides tonight. The pace and the tempo of the game didn't feel pre-season like, which is great to see, considering that these sides have only had a couple of weeks of preparation and pre-season matches ahead of the start of the season. But it's Watford who take home the first 3 points of the season, and I'm pretty sure most Watford fans will be hoping that it isn't just match day one where they're saying we are top of the league. As for Middlesbrough, of course, they're bottom of the league right now, but you can't really read into anything after match day one. Good performance tonight from both sides. Do you think Watford deserve the win?
No, not on paper. I think this game, to be fair, deserved to be a draw overall, but they got off to a very fast start, and I think the poor defending from a set piece has really been Middlesbrough's downfall. But I think overall in the performance, I know Neil Warnock may not be the type of guy to do this, but I think there's many positives to take. And against many teams in the Championship, you play like that, and you maybe a bit more clinical with your chances, then you definitely win football matches. So I've not looked at them tonight and thought they'll be down where they were last season.
Absolutely not. Good performance tonight for them. And although, of course, they missed out on the points, they could be proud of themselves, because it is no matter what at this stage of the season, it's a good game that they had. But it's obviously a shame that they couldn't pick up a point or 3 tonight. Kieran James Dillon's put Middlesbrough at home, not for everyone, AKL.
I mean, some teams can beat Middlesbrough at home. Hull City are one of them teams.
I think we beat them at home as well sometimes. I think a couple of years ago when we did the Great Escape, we beat them at home. So EFL, start there. Good match overall. Could have been much worse, and a good performance. If you have enjoyed these EFL streams, the EFL watch-along that we've done tonight, it's the first one that we've done, of course. Put in the comments if you're watching this, of course, on replay. Put in the comments whether you'd like to see more EFL watch-alongs, because we are looking to do them. Hence why I've made all the graphics and stuff for future watch-alongs. But keep your eyes out, because talking about future watch-alongs, we've got more watch-alongs to come in the near future as well. The ones that we've got confirmed right now, you'll be able to see on your screen in just a moment. Let me find where they are. There we go. So you can see on the screen right now some of the confirmed watch-alongs that we've got. So we've got Liverpool versus Leeds game, that's tomorrow. Kick off at 5:30 for that game. We're going to be live about 5:15 for the first Premier League game of the season that we'll be doing live, it's looking like, on the channel. Although we'll find out. We are looking to the Fulham Arsenal one, but I don't know whether that's going to happen now. 19th September, Man United taking on Crystal Palace. That's at 5:30. Definitely KD will be doing that one. Manchester United fan, of course, like to see his reaction to that game. Chelsea take on Liverpool on the 20th of September. First real big mammoth fixture of the Premier League. Going to be a great game to watch, that one, with all the new signings Chelsea's made. And then, of course, the day afterwards is a busy weekend, that one, because Wolves then take on Manchester City. That is on the 21st. Of September. That is Monday night, 8:15. We'll be live at 8 o'clock for that. But doesn't mean there's going to be other ones live as well, because we're looking midweek on Tuesday, Wednesday. Carabao Cup Gold Show, of course. The Carabao Cup is coming thick and fast in the first couple of weeks. We're not in the competition anymore, but of course, Kieran knows Hull is. Manchester United will be in it in round 3, and Rowan's Oldham are still in it as well. So we're going to do potentially Gold Show for that on Tuesday and Wednesday. So keep your eyes out, because that should be good fun. Plenty of games going on across the couple of hours on Tuesday and Wednesday night. But as for now, thank you very much for joining me, Kieran. Really good night of football.
Yeah, and a real nice opener, whet the appetite for a season to come, which is hopefully eventually going to have fans involved. And, this has been a season like no other at the end of last year, and a pre-season like no other, some non-pre-season. So a really nice way to kick it back off. It feels nice to have football back in general. And as you said, these games that we're watching, you'll see on your Twitter account, Josh, that the games that we're going to watch along will all be on there, and hopefully we can add more to that and more. Keep up with the EFL, over the year, because we do like doing all of European football, even some lower leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for this to be our first one, we've obviously wanted to do EFL ones for quite a while, but now we've got the ability to be able to. We'll definitely be doing a couple more in the future, of course. So keep your eyes out on the channel as always. And if you want to follow us on Twitter as well to keep up to date when we go live, at the _top corner. Follow us on Twitter there, and you can keep up to date when we go live. In terms of other sporting stuff, you're actually live again tomorrow, aren't you, for the NFL Corner?
Yep, before you guys go live at 5:30 with the Liverpool v Leeds watch-along, we will be live earlier in the day, around that midday period, to talk about the Texans versus the Chiefs that happened last night, because the NFL season has finally kicked off. It's not just this football, American football as well. And we're going to preview every game coming into this weekend. I don't know about you, Josh. I know you're not a fan yourself, but sport being back, the world is just an easier place to live, and it gives you an escape.
It's honestly, it's bloody beautiful. Just to have all the all the sports coming back now, to have something to watch in the spare time, and to of course do on stream as well. It's nice that we're getting not back to the normal, but we're getting back to a near normal. The fact that we can actually watch sports without having the fans in the stadium, and hopefully, of course, soon we'll be able to have fans back in the stadium. But double upload then tomorrow. Keep your eyes out for the NFL Corner. It'll be live with Kieran and Will, of course, as the NFL season has already started. But as for now, Chris has put in the chat, well done to me getting score right, part of the back. You did indeed, of course. Well done, Chris Welch. And it's a great stream, as always, lads. Thank you very much, buddy. But as for now, Kieran will be back tomorrow for the NFL Corner. I don't know whether I'll be back tomorrow or not for the Premier League one, but keep your eyes out, of course, because we're live from 5:15. But as